And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream here on the Film Stocked channel. It is actually Sunday, November 30th, 6:01 p.m. Come on. You guys know me. I got my Diet Dr. Pepper on hand. It's a beautiful thing, and I have to have a sip right now. The purpose of this stream is to talk spoilers for something called Stranger Things Season 5. You've heard of it. That's right. We're talking Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 1 spoilers here in the stream. Spoiler warning, it goes without saying. And yeah, let's just have a fun time. I also want to address the recent issues on the channel regarding copyright. It's very, very, very irritating, and I'm very aware of it, and I apologize for it. The episode 3 and episode 4 reactions were posted and then taken down. They were blocked by YouTube, meaning they legit, like, these are not visible anywhere. Boom. You couldn't even click on it if you wanted to. And so I normally, when you're presented with that option, it's like, oh, you can go crop something out and make the video visible again. And it's not like monetized or anything like that, but the video is still out there. So I looked into that, not even possible with how much they claimed. And so unfortunately, the only option to have those videos publicly out was to go in and restructure them and re-edit them, which is just a pain in the ass, to call it what it is. It's very irritating, and it's out of control. And so at that point, what can you do? So I know the Turnbow Trap reaction especially was out for a while. It was out for like a few days, and that's out again. And then, of course, the finale reaction was posted last night around 9 p.m. Eastern, and then boom, stripped overnight. I woke up to an email, and now it's out again. However, we're not off the hook. We don't know. I don't know how long. YouTube is very weird. You can ask anyone. I have an immense amount of respect for anyone who's a full-blown reaction channel, because it's grueling to deal with that crap behind the scenes. And so I know there are huge channels out there that have talked about it before. And I've done Cobra Kai reactions, and I've done a couple other reactions. It's not my forte necessarily. And let me just say, it's a lot. And Cam edited those videos. All credit to her. She worked her butt off editing them. I was grinding for the big reaction, or not the big breakdown video. That was my thing. But Cam crushed it. If you're like, oh, these are better edited than his videos, it's because I didn't edit them. I'm not as good of an editor. Cam crushed it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there now. I feel like I can't respond to every single comment, but the reactions are out currently. If they get stripped again, knock on wood, I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. It's out of my control, and apparently they can just do whatever they want. If that happens again, then I won't know what I'll do. I don't know what to do, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. However, for the time being, everything is out. We'll make it work before volume 2. This is kind of the trial run of it all. But if you want, the guaranteed way to watch is on Patreon, where you can just sync up with a timer. I know there's a ton of influx of new patrons, so welcome to the Patreon community. But I just wanted to talk about that up front for the first few minutes, just to get it out of the way. But cheers with the Diet Dr. Pepper. Anyway, lots to discuss. In fact, let's see what the chat's up to. How we doing, everybody? Someone said 6'7". Oh, Lord. I love how we already have the new Max profile pic. I love it. Justice for Ted Wheeler. Ted showed that Demogorgon with his golf club. Yeah. When Ted got smacked, I was like, he's dead. On impact, I thought he was dead. I thought, and I still think, I see bone and or organ. I'm not convinced he's all right. I'm just not. I'm not. I guess we'll see, but man, oh man, it's going to be interesting. Hunter, what's good? Welcome in, everybody. Oh, let's talk about this. Kali returning could ruin the show if she ends up fighting Vecna. It's unearned. So here's my take on this, and especially if you've seen my reaction. My initial reaction in the heat of the moment, I very, very anti her returning. I've voiced that pretty much forever. I think that her point in returning is pointless. I think that her story's done. What do you think about her returning?
I wanted to offer this to you.
Oh, I'm fine. You can leave it there. Perfect timing. Thoughts on 8?
I actually am for it. Like, obviously, before the season, if you would have asked me, it would have been like, no, that's not happening for sure. Because normally I just feel like the Duffer Brothers like to ignore that. But being the season 2 lover that I am,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that they did bring her back, like, they wouldn't bring her back knowing that the episode that she's in is the worst episode of their entire show. They wouldn't bring her back to make it worse. I think I have faith in them to bring her back and make it better for her character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've sorry, I'm out of breath from walking in here.
You're fine. I agree to your point.
They have actively talked about, not just the Duffer Brothers, but the cast has talked about how they're aware of like what happened to Game of Thrones and how bad Game of Thrones ruined the end of their show. And that's all anybody ever talks about when you talk about Game of Thrones, ignoring the 7 great seasons of television that there is there, right?
Yeah.
So they're so actively aware of not wanting to ruin their show.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing her back is such a crazy thing to do, while also like being so conscious of the fact that you don't want to ruin your own show. So it can only be a good thing, in my opinion.
Yes and no. I think them bringing
her
her,
write her bad.
I think what this comment says would if she just comes in and is like, yeah, let's kick his ass. No, that's a problem for me. I think that I take issue with, and then they have to prove me wrong here, and I'm going to go in open-minded. My issue, and I think we talked about this at the MegaCon panel we did with Sean Chandler, where we had the spinning wheel of theories. We were like, Callie returns or whatever. A point I brought up is I don't want to see a superhero showdown with 11, Kali, and Will, who now has the ability to channel Vecna's powers. I don't want to see them fight Vecna because the show's never been that. The show has always been about in my opinion, like outsmarting the entities from the upside down.
Totally valid. I don't really see them doing that, honestly, especially not in the age of like. I think we've seen Will's superhero moment. I think we've seen it.
Yeah.
I think we'll see him activate it maybe one other time. Maybe. But I think he was able to do that because he was just within 5 feet of Vecna. And I think that's it. I don't think he'll be able to activate it unless he's in the same general vicinity as Vecna.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it.
Okay.
I also think in the age of stuff like Marvel being made fun of, even now The Boys is being made fun of for the team ups that they have. Gen V is being made fun of, which I think is stupid. I disagree with, but whatever, I digress. I don't think they would do like a 11 Will, Callie, girls get it done, girls and gays get it done, power up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think they do that. I think, to me, if I was writing the show, what I think would be the most interesting right now with Callie would be potentially her teaching either 11 or Will some sense of powers, like maybe helping 11 unlock a part of her powers that allows her to make people see things, like how Callie can do. That'd be super interesting.
I think the best route they could take with her is to go, and I'm going to name drop a character you love, a Bucky Barnes route in a sense of like the torture element of it. Like, I think that
they're definitely truly sympathetic.
Yeah, that's what they have to do. Like, she's been like paralleling 11, but like 10 times worse. Like, I think that she's been tortured and put through the ringer, and like for not even 18 months since we last saw her.
Probably since season 2. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's been
by mama.
Yeah. Whoever the hell Dr. K is, which I believe she's somebody.
Mama.
She's somebody.
That's mama.
God. Watch it actually be. I mean, I didn't even realize when I was watching that I made a joke about it being 8 because it wasn't in my brain.
Oh my God, no, that was so funny.
I was like, oh, it's Callie or Kali, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But no.
Which, by the way, go watch his episode 3 and 4 reaction.
Watch them while you can. I talked about it up front. They're gonna come for me. So we'll see how long they're out. But
like, I really don't think that. I don't think they'll. I think they bring back Callie. But I think it was a very calculated decision, and I think they probably thought the hardest on her scenes. I said
this. I said the ball's in the Duffer's court now, and if they can do it, then do it. And I respect the hell out of it if they can. But if you bring her back and somehow flub it, then it's like, what are you doing? So it's really the pressure's on, but I trust him. I think people are about to find out truthfully how, I want to say not great, because great's a strong adjective, but maybe how digestible of a character Callie truly is without her gang with her. I think when we watch episode 7, for me personally, what I realized on my recent rewatch of episode 7 of season 2 is it's not Kali that I hate. It's not her that I'm irritated by. It's not even her and 11's like individual singular storyline.
It's Callie's friends that are irritating.
Funshine and Axel and Dottie, the whole
not
gang.
too much on Funshine.
Who's the worst one? Is Axel.
Axel.
Axel's the Guitar Hero 2 guy with the mohawk. Yeah, that's awful.
The hot orange mohawk.
Yeah, trivia. Let's do some season 5 trivia. I'm serious. I will never forget the name Austin Milbarge. Who is that, you might ask? It's Murray's
Gable
undercover
Ridge Road.
alias. Gable Ridge Road. You've got Jake is the name of the snake that does. I was just thinking of like what trivia questions are going to be from season 5. What are some other ones? Oh yeah, thinking of Max. Or this will be a fun one. What play was Joyce putting on in the 1959? It's Oklahoma. The 1959 flashback. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff like that.
What is the date of her play?
November 6th, 1959.
Is that true?
What is Karen Wheeler's maiden name? I know it, but it's just because I did my big ass deep dive.
I actually don't know.
I believe Karen Childress.
What's Eddie's dad's name?
Alan Munson.
I know you knew that.
Yeah, Ted was in the play too, I guess, which is
what are
wild.
the questions you've been asked? Have you been asked anything about DNC versus JNC? Because I'm here to talk about
We
that.
can definitely get into that. I have some super chats here I'm going to pop into. This one here it says, hey, Chris, did Vol 1 live up to your expectation? Can you please rank each of the 4 eps out of 10 with regard to how much you enjoyed them? Love from South Africa. We'll watch the replay tomorrow. Excuse me. Thank you, man. I appreciate the super chat. And I would say it definitely lived up to my expectations, but I also am acknowledging that initially I'd say for 20 to 30 minutes, I was just kind of in shock. Like I had to process that they actually took 2 big swings. They committed to the return of 8 and they committed to Will channeling some sort of powers. And it was 2 a.m., around 2 a.m. when I finished, I want to say, because I would take like 5 or 6 minutes between episodes and that kind of compounded and then, little breaks here and there. But I am of the opinion that it lived up to the hype for me. Now, I want to make it known, like I said, I wasn't like initially like over the moon with certain decisions in the finale, but that's just the last 20 minutes. And to Cam's point, who I mentioned edited the reactions.
Oh, you did?
Yes, she was aware and acknowledged that I was thrown off by the potential death of Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
So I was emotionally.
Oh my god, you won't.
I was emotionally unwell.
You won't see it unless you go to his Patreon and watch his full episodes. But literally, like for like more than 10 minutes,
is bad.
After Hopper goes into that hallway with the explosives on him, Chris is like staring off into space almost. Mm-hmm. He's like not comprehending anything happening in there. Like he is, but he's not. You know what I mean?
It was bad.
So funny.
Yeah, it was bad. But no, I would say how I rank the episodes out of 10. I mean, I don't really know if I've ever really done that with TV episodes. Star ratings even are weird to me now, but I know that Sorcerer is like one of the highest, if not the highest rated episodes on duty. I'm not of the opinion Sorcerer is the best episode of the show, like right now. I think it is a great episode. I don't think it's the best episode of Stranger Things, though. Personally, how do you feel? I can't say that right now. Personally,
well,
I have to let it sit. I've had the other episodes for years, so
I know in my reaction, which I haven't edited yet, but I do know at some point in episode 4, I do say this might be the best episode of the show, but that's because that's when it's Max and Holly, and it's probably right around when they're doing play stuff, which I'm super into.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, thank you for the super chat, and I'd say I'm going to rank the episodes soon, so that's going to come to shorts this week. We've both kind of been in the zone with long form stuff. Preston, thank you for the super chat. This one, super chat here says, what do you think happened to Sullivan, Murray, and Akers? So we never do see Murray. I thought we were going to see Murray's corpse for a second after we see like the kids get taken. Murray's fine, probably. I think Sullivan's definitely dead. Sullivan, we see him burning.
I think he'll come back with burns.
Oh God, really? You think?
Yeah.
You know who's dead? Sergeant Ramirez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's low-key my goat.
Honestly,
I like that he stood up for the kids a lot. That was a really great scene.
Honestly, should I tell the people?
Yeah.
I was able to. This is coming to the channel this week. I'll even show you a little. Do I have it on my phone? The video's fully edited. I interviewed Emmanuel Boria, who plays Sergeant Ramirez. There's a 40-minute interview. It's fully edited. It's coming to the channel this week.
Coolest death in the show.
We had a whole discussion about filming his death scene. We talked about him landing the role. Talked about that scene with Linda Hamilton's character, Dr. K. I asked him about his experience with the show and just his like personal picks. Turned out really, really well. And he was an awesome dude. So that's coming to the channel this week.
Yay.
And I just wanted to let you know. But no, Sullivan, I think he's toast. I noticed this. There are still no F-bombs. The TVMA thing to me,
It has to be all the blood.
it has to just be some of the blood, because they definitely upped the blood.
We blurred
But
blood
that's
in
it.
his YouTube videos. Like that's how
Like
bloody it was.
think about Karen, you know, like the shot of Karen like
Oops.
laying there on the ground,
Oh my
or
God, yeah.
Ted's chest, and then of course the death of some characters in the massacre at the not the demo base, at the Mac Z. Is that what it's called? Mac Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Big Mac.
Pretty sick. Mac Z. Yeah. No language really though. We owe the actor who played Derek apology. Goat. What is his saying? It's suck a fountain, right?
Yeah, it's his 90-year-old over here.
Yeah, he's fine to
I
me.
give him no apologies. Because
Oh, the actor? Oh, sorry. The actor, yeah, I have no issue with. The character Derek, so I'm talking about
I
here,
think
he's
anybody
fine.
who was mean to him owes him an apology.
Yeah, that was
so
probably
messed up.
especially
I love the actor. His name's Jake. If you don't follow him on Instagram,
Jake Connolly. Yeah,
you definitely should follow him on Instagram. I think that he's the sweetest little boy to ever exist. I feel maternal over him, much like I did over like Dustin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's precious to me.
Speaking of, I think Dustin is pushing Steve away because he's scared to lose him and doesn't want it to hurt as much as it did with Eddie. That's interesting. I think there's two sides to this coin of the Dustin Steve thing. My take on this whole entire thing, before I let you obviously give your 2 cents, because I know you're itching too. My take on it is I love Steve. He's always been one of my favorite characters. I think undeniably this season for me, it's not just with Dustin, with everyone. He's been kind of bratty. I'll say it. I think Steve's just been a little bratty. I'm not saying out of character. I think it's more of a regression.
I think Steve's always been very sassy.
I think he's falling into his old ways. And it's the most irritating to me when Dustin presents the fact that, hey, this barrier in the upside down, it's like the border of the upside down. It's a circle. He's like, oh, how'd you figure that out? And he's just kind of being like, I don't see how that helps us find Holly. It's like, what are you talking about?
As somebody who loves math, truthfully, when Dustin's like, we have 3 known points, and I did this and this and this, and I was able to determine the circle with this equation. And then Steve's like, all right, we're not your teacher. You don't need to show us your work. Made me so upset because it's like, this is the most Dustin has been so far this entire season, because obviously Dustin is grieving. Dustin finally has something to distract him from his grief, which is whatever this wall is. And he's figured something out, and he's so excited and passionate about it right now. And he's being his old self. He is being his old self. And Steve is responding to him in a non-encouraging way. That upsets me deeply as a Steve lover.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like a good response from Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I know that I've seen counters to all this. There's debate going on online. People are like, it's been 18 months. Dustin needs to get over Eddie. And the grieving process is different for everybody.
You cannot, even if it's, you're like, Steve is, first of all, Steve's valid for being frustrated if Dustin's been like this for 18 months. It's fine for Steve to feel frustrated, especially because they are quarantined and nobody can leave Hawkins, right?
Right.
Stir crazy, he's frustrated. That's totally fine and valid. On the other side of that coin, though, you absolutely cannot tell somebody how long or short they should grieve for. It doesn't matter how long you think Dustin knew Eddie. It doesn't matter how much of an impact you think Eddie had on Dustin's life. Dustin should be allowed to grieve for however long he wants to grieve. It's been 3 years for me. I still grieve Eddie Munson every day. And he's not even real to me.
Yeah,
so explain that.
So yeah, I mean, it up in the air really, but I do believe early on in volume 2 there will be a resolution between their beef, and they'll have that hug moment that we've seen in the trailer. Super Chat here says, a theory for Stranger Things: Vecna is Will's father. One scene with powers, I think his powers are innate because of him being a sorcerer, and one where Vecna just pushed Joyce. I don't think that's the case. I think we know who Will's father is.
Can you imagine your father being Lonnie Byers, and then you find out he's not really your father, and then your father is actually just worse?
I mean, that would be that. Yeah, guy, that would be awful, right? No, I don't think so. But I do think it's worth noting that Joyce was tossed to the side, delicately, and I do think that the flashbacks will add some context to that.
I can't wait for more of those guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Harrison with a super chat. Thank you, Harrison. I've been watching your coverage for the past few months. Can finally chat that I was in season 5 as one of the soldiers at the Mac Z. Filmed for weeks and came out and saying, keep up the good video. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, man. I think you got the Nike Stranger Things kicks. I think I saw that somewhere on social. So very cool stuff. The Steve shoes, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Very cool that you were one of the soldiers, though. Like I said, I got to talk to Emmanuel, who played Sergeant Ramirez, who filmed there. Heard it was nuts. Heard it was crazy. The logistics of it. Of course, Ross Duffer saying that the shoot was the most logistically insane shoot of his life, like apparently. So pretty cool stuff. But no, thank you. I appreciate you for stopping in, and very cool stuff. That scene, man, that I'm probably going to rewatch Vol 2 not Vol 2. Vol 2 is not out. Vol 1 again this week.
Probably.
Technically seen it multiple times with all the editing we've done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know
I
what I'm
can tell you
saying?
those episodes
Oh,
front
yeah.
to back.
Oh, yeah. Josh with the super chat here. It says, my out of nowhere theory is that Erica is going to die. Close enough that it'll hurt, but far away enough that we still have Maine survive. I think Erica's safe. I think she's one of the safest characters. I think at this point through the show, it's like Hopper or Elle are the two teed up to die. Hopper, Elle, or Will.
Yeah.
I feel like one of those three are in the most danger. But Erica, I stand by. I just think she's going to make it. I really do. Thank you for the super chat here. This super chat says, do you agree this season doesn't feel like Stranger Things? I will hear you out on this in a sense. To me, it still does, but I do know where you're coming from. And I think the reason people might feel this way is because it is a season that, to the Duffers' direct quote, it opens at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Normally it takes seasons like 3 or 4 episodes to get going.
Exactly. Usually every season, you see the downtime. You see characters just living life. And you get a little of that here still, but you are kind of thrown right into it in a sense. And so I see where you're coming from. It doesn't have as many...
I think in a lot of ways it feels more like Stranger Things, though, than past seasons, because it brings back similar character groupings from earlier seasons. We're bringing back things like the Dungeons and Dragons pieces that they use to explain stuff. Like Mike feels very much like his season 1 and 2 character of himself. Like a lot of it feels like early Stranger Things, just on the scale of season 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, and I stand by this. One thing I've noticed as I've gone through is that how do I say this? I don't know if it maintains the look of the other seasons as much. Does that make sense? It looks either, I'm not saying, and I told you this, it's because they had to recreate downtown Hawkins essentially for a lot of the shooting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little more obvious, like green screen, especially when they climb the radio tower. Like those are things that do not bother me. They don't actually negate anything. Like, they don't take away from the season, but it's just a little more noticeable to me.
Well, I mean, season 1 and season 2, I think specifically have a very like older look to them. But I think 3, 4, and 5 all kind of feel the same in terms of how they look and how they're shot.
Fair. Mr. Mantra with a super chat says, I'm a newer fan, so thank you. Welcome. Biggest win/upset of Stranger Things 5. So far, biggest win. I mean, I really love the Max and Holly dynamic. I think that they are probably the best duo, but finally seeing Mike and Nancy be siblings after seasons is very fitting as well. Upset for the time being, without seeing where they take it, it'd have to be the return of 8. It has to be. Show me, like, prove it. Like, I want to see it. That's my
valid, I think.
So. Jaden says, why do Jonathan and Steve still have beef? You know, I actually don't. I think that this is strange as well in a sense. I mean, obviously they've always been rivals of sorts, but it's been 18 months. And on top of that, it seemed like we were at a place at the end of season 4 where Steve was willing to accept this, and Jonathan and Nancy were very much being pushed as the couple. Now there's a bit of a regression again, and I don't know why.
If I may be so free to speak, I think if anything, Jonathan having an issue with Steve still to this day actually makes more sense than Steve having an issue with Jonathan, because if you think about it, Jonathan really hasn't seen Steve, like been around Steve since season 2. We don't see each other really at all in season 3, except for in the mall for like 5 seconds, truthfully. And then, because Steve is, he's with Dustin the whole time, right, for season 3. Mm-hmm. And then season 4, obviously they're not together at all. And you have season 5. So when you think about also any real interactions that Steve and Jonathan have had in seasons 1 and 2, like, to Jonathan's perspective, all Steve has done is what? Call him a queer, call his brother a queer, say his family is like trash, be like, no wonder your brother went missing. Like, Steve said some really awful things to Jonathan in season 1. I think a lot of people breeze past that because we've forgiven Steve by now, which is totally valid and I agree with. But like, Steve did say some pretty awful things to Jonathan, and that's not really something that somebody gets over too easily. Anything that all of Steve's character development has been with Nancy in a sense. Like in season 2, when Steve's like, go with him, Nancy, like go be with him, like that's fine. Like I'm a better babysitter. Like it's okay. You know what I mean? Like that's a great scene for Steve, but that is with just Nancy. Like Steve and Jonathan haven't had that moment. They haven't. And then you add on to it the fact that Steve told his girlfriend that he wanted to have 6 kids with her in season 4, which I don't even think Jonathan knows. But it's just like, I can understand why Jonathan wouldn't necessarily like Steve, especially with how Steve currently acts in season 5. To Jonathan, it's probably like Steve hasn't actually progressed as a person at all. To him, based on how this is the most Jonathan's seen Steve in the past 2 years, and this is how Steve is acting. I think Steve having an issue with Jonathan stems from the fact that he wants Nancy, which is stupid.
I love how everyone keeps saying, I told you to eat your pie. Eat your pie. Like the whole Erica thing with the pie is funny. Let's see. This is in regard to you editing, by the way. Editing the...
Thanks, guys. I'll probably edit my own next week. Or the week after. Because
Murray did not get up from the crash, someone says. I mean, I'm interested to see.
They did fall on his side. Like
Might be concussed. Yeah, he might be
Robin
concussed.
Get out is the real question.
I don't know. Apparently there's a genuine concern for him. I thought that he was fine, honestly, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Looking through here. Were there any characters in Volume 1 that you started liking more compared to the first 4 seasons? Good question. I wouldn't say I liked more, but I would say that a return to form was Mike. I think that 100%. Mike was great in 1 and 2, and then he kind of slowly dipped, and he's definitely he's just climbing way back up. And I think that Finn Wolfhard probably would even acknowledge it. I think he wasn't really pleased with what they did with him in season 4 at one point, I want to say.
I think Mike is the only one that I could really be like, yeah, any liking for him has like maybe wavered in the past 2 seasons, but like all my favorite characters I still love. Like Lucas I think is still great, Nancy's still great. I still like Dustin despite the fact that he's depressed and sad. Max still great.
Yeah, true. So yeah, Peyton with Superstars says Stranger Things theory, every dead character is coming back. Steve mentioned that Nancy had shown Billy walking around from the visions from season 4. Does this also mean Eddie and Bob and other characters could also return? I don't know. I don't think they're going to, mainly if you want the truth, thinking about it logistically, I'm just thinking of the budget. I don't know if they would want to pay all those actors to come back. And then you have to add in, well, what purpose would they really serve? They could show up for like a quick shot, kind of like with what happened with Billy and Dear Billy, but I don't see them coming back as like zombies or really taking away. There's only 4 episodes left, and nothing's really indicated that we would go that direction.
I think the only reason to ever bring somebody back from the dead for a flashback like that is if the character most affected hasn't fully moved on. I think for Bob, I think Joyce has moved on. I think we saw her officially move on when she saved Hopper from the Demodog in season 4.
Yeah, that
was like a full circle moment of her no longer being traumatized by that event.
100%.
I think it could make sense to bring Eddie back to show Dustin, because Dustin clearly hasn't moved on from Eddie. However, I do not think that they were able to get Joseph Quinn because he is so busy. I
think you'd be surprised.
I think he's far too booked and busy.
You'd be surprised.
I would not be surprised. I don't think. Nope. I don't.
They pay him for one day. They fly him out in the cover of night, and he gets there.
Joe Keery and
they. For all they
Joe Keery and Gate Matarazzo were on BBC Radio 1, and there's a bit where they like the radio host has them call people, and it's like you have to bet if they're standing or sitting, and then you call them and ask, and they answer. Then called Joseph Quinn, and at the end of that, Gate was like, "I feel really bad because I haven't called him in like almost. I haven't called him in like a year and a half. I haven't talked to him in like a year and a half. So I just think that if they had filmed semi recently, I think that they would maybe keep it more in contact, and they just don't.
I appreciate how naive you are with that, because acting like Andrew Garfield didn't lie. He didn't lie to us for how long?
The difference is that Andrew Garfield is a bad liar, and we knew.
I don't know. I'm not saying if Joseph Quinn's in it that Eddie's alive, but I think
I don't. I literally do not think they got him back.
All right.
Mind you, when they called him out on BBC Radio 1, he was literally on set for his Beatles movie. Okay. Like, he is too booked and busy.
Yeah, but Cam, he went to conventions.
That means nothing.
That's about how long it would take to shoot something.
No.
You disagree? For one scene, one little scene.
I disagree.
Okay. All right. We'll see. One will fuse with Mind Flayer to make Vessel Hydra. That would be, again, bonkers would be the word I would use. It would, I think it would take away from both of those, both the character Henry One Vecna and the entity that is the Mind Flayer. And it would lessen both of those, in my opinion. That would feel very MCU-y.
Yeah, no.
Not a fan. Do you think Dr. Owens will appear? I pray. I literally, every time all throughout Volume 1, I was like, Dr. Owens is going to be here. It's going to be Owens. And he just never showed. He never showed. I think he has to show at some point. He has to, in my opinion.
Poor Chris.
Yeah. I think Kali, Dr. K, Vecna, Will, and 11 are dead. Will and 11 would be like a big swing. I think it's one or the other with those two. I do think Kali will die. I think she'll die.
No, I think if they're gonna go the Winter Soldier route with her, like she's been tortured since season 2, so she's been locked up and tortured for the past like 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so evil to kill her. You just gotta let her go.
I mean,
you established Callie as this character that escaped from the lab because all she wanted was to be free and to live her own life. And although that episode sucks, that is a big part of her character and a big part of that episode.
Yeah.
To take that away, what's the point?
What's the point of killing anyone then? And I'm being genuine here because, like, this is always, anytime you and I or me and anyone talk about a character death, they're like, well, it'd be too cruel to. Well, then I guess, and truly, it's fine. But no one's going to die then.
Yeah, but
if we view it through a certain lens.
It's more of a sense of, like, because we do not care about Callie enough, what is the reason to do something so heartbreaking to her? There is no reason. To kill 11, that is heartbreaking. That is cruel. But it's heartbreaking in a sense of, like, it's heartbreaking because we know and love 11. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do, but I also just think
it's like, why would you waste a death?
Whoever they kill could have lived. Like, it's just that kind of show. Like, they might not actually kill anyone, and that's fine if they make it work.
That's what every time they kill somebody in a season, like Alexi, Bob, Eddie, it's somebody that we grow to love, and it's like it's so heartbreaking when it happens. But it's like rest in peace. We hardly knew you, honestly, but they make you love these characters. I just don't think that Callie's going to be that.
I think Jonathan will die and Nancy and Steve end up together, similar to how the Pearl Harbor movie ended. I have not seen Pearl Harbor, but I'm aware of it. But no, I don't think Steve and Nancy are going to end up together.
I'm telling you this right now. If Jonathan dies, Nancy will end up alone. Okay. Nancy will not. Jonathan could live, and Jonathan could break up. Nancy will still not go to Steve. There is no ending on this world where Nancy ends up with Steve.
I don't think they're going to end up together either.
They are not compatible. Intellectually or emotionally at all.
Hop is gone because of how he said goodbye to Joyce. I was thinking that for a second. That's why when he was talking to freaking 11 and he had the bomb strapped to himself, I was like,
Chris was in distress.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. Eric is the next Dexter. Eat your pie. In my opinion, the Mind Flayer is still the main villain in Volume 2. Reveal that. I agree. I think it's like all but confirmed, to be honest with you. Not even to be spoilery. Like, it's just so obvious at this point.
There's still something with the Mind Flayer
for
sure, Aziz.
Yeah.
For sure, Aziz.
Yeah.
I think that combined with the stuff that's happening in the Max storyline with Henry's memories, Henry not being able to go into the caves. I mean, I
dove into all that, the First Shadow lore in my breakdown. So yeah, it's very, just.
Oh my God. Speaking of the next question.
What's the deal with the cave Max lives in? I've heard that to do with the play.
Do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
You can take it.
Want to take a sip of water while I do this?
You can take it. Just go for it.
Okay, so in the play, Henry, before they move to Hawkins, before Henry becomes like evil, little baby Henry Creel.
By the way, I should say
play spoilers.
Play spoilers that are like
mute.
That are like 95% gonna be revealed in this show.
It'll be explained. It's not like the biggest deal. But
I don't think it is either. But
go ahead and mute the live stream now, and we'll give you a thumbs up when I'm done talking.
Sure. Yep.
Okay? So little baby Henry wanders off. They live in Nevada, and he wanders off into this cave system because he's just exploring and playing on his own. There's a worker from Brenner's lab that's also in Nevada who had stolen some equipment and ran away with it, and was also in this cave system. This equipment gets activated and sends that worker and young Henry Creel into Dimension X. The worker is killed like on site, but Henry Creel is stuck in Dimension X for like 12 hours. When Henry comes back from Dimension X, he is then the version of Henry we see in the show when he's living in Hawkins, where he's evil, he's like obsessed with spiders and being all demonic in his attic, and like he comes back with very different blood. And so essentially, like, I don't know exactly what happens to him in Dimension X. I don't know if the play fully explains what happens to him in Dimension X. I don't think it does. I think it might just show him with the Mind Flayer for like a second, but the gist is that he met the Mind Flayer. And then, you know, in 1979 in the TV show, when he goes to Dimension X via Baby 11, he seemingly has no memory of what happened to him back when he was younger in, I think it's like 1950 something. I can't remember. So that's the gist with the cave system. I think the cave system, like the caves that Max is hiding in, that's his memory of when he was first put in Dimension X, when he first met the Mind Flayer, and that's a very traumatizing thing for him. I think it's similar to a la 11 forgetting the massacre at Hawkins' lab, and I think it's similar to Will forgetting the memory of what Vecna did to him when he was little.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think specifically paralleling Will, in my opinion, with being taken at a young age, and now, fascinatingly enough, Vecna wanting to take kids at the end, and it's like whatever happened to him, like he's living through his own trauma in a weird way. Like he's also doing what Papa did.
Yes, you know? he's being
he's recreating the two, like Brenner and the Mind Flayer, essentially the two evils in his life that ruined him. He has become. Yeah, it's poetic.
He's being very Brenner, taking kids.
Steve has clearly let Nancy go. I thought that was made clear in the scene of the van. You would think. I think that was more him. In the context of season 4, I always viewed that scene as him being like a hopeful, yearning, you know.
I think they're talking about the man in season 4. I thought they were talking about the WSTK man in season 5.
Sure. Are you talking about when he's talking to Jonathan? Okay, yeah, fair.
Because some people are saying that Steve is clueless to any competition.
Interesting.
Which is wrong.
Okay. I, for some reason, read an RV in my head.
That's totally fine.
Steve, yeah, I mean, well, if he's clear to let her go, he's still being.
I think he's
macho competitive.
No, he's playing stupid. Because here's the thing: you can make the argument like Steve, like when they're climbing the tower, Steve is always one to go and do a dangerous job. That's whatever. That's no biggie. Jonathan is the one that initiates that competition with being like, actually, no, I think it's a job for Jonathan Byers. Jonathan initiates that 100%. But then when Steve goes to turn off like the energy or whatever, he comes out of the little room and he sees Jonathan climb the ladder. Steve sprints to the other ladder to start climbing up there. Steve continues the macho fight. If Steve felt like there was no need for competition, if Steve was clueless to the competition, if Steve had no need to vie for Nancy's attention, he could have just let Jonathan go up the ladder. Yeah. There's no need for him to do that. But he did it because he wanted to show off for Nancy as well. But people are acting like Steve is clueless to it all. And Steve just wanted to be nice to Nancy and bring her flowers.
Trevor with super chat said, theory, Steven doesn't have a little beef going, might be setting up a sad sacrifice from Steve to save Dustin.
I have a crazy take about this.
Please.
And then I'll leave you alone and then I'll come back later.
Okay.
I really don't want to see Steve sacrifice himself for Dustin because I feel like that would, this is just my personal opinion, is like,
I know
everybody's allowed to agree with it. Everyone's allowed to disagree with this. I feel like if Steve sacrificed himself for Dustin, it would in a way undermine Eddie sacrificing himself for Dustin. I think Steve could sacrifice himself for Nancy. Steve could sacrifice himself for any other character. But I think sacrificing for Dustin, I feel like would just be super repetitive.
I agree.
And undermine the sacrifice that Eddie had in season 4, because I think that that's such an impactful scene, whether or not you're as obsessed with Eddie as I am, or you're just a normal person like you. Like, I think that scene is very impactful.
A normie.
And, like, watching Dustin talk to Wayne Munson, that's impactful. And I think that Dustin and Eddie's relationship is super impactful in just one singular season.
I mean, yeah, I think
Dustin and Steve also have a very impactful relationship, but like, I just think that it would be repetitive. It would undermine Eddie's sacrifice in a way to me, just me personally. And also I just feel like I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to set up a really great way for them to make up. Maybe Dustin thinks he's about to lose Steve, but Steve's like, dude, I'm fine. I'm fine. And that just freaks Dustin out, and that makes Dustin break down and go back to normal with Steve.
Yeah.
I think that might happen, but I don't think there will be a sacrifice for Dustin on Steve's behalf.
I agree. I think that if anything, they would kill Dustin, which would be even crazier, is what I'm saying.
I think this
that would be
Dustin-
wild.
This version of Dustin right now, as of Volume 1, would not allow Steve to sacrifice himself to Dustin. Dustin would not let that happen after what already happened to him with Eddie.
I think both are going to be fine, and I'm kind of actually getting to I've kind of shifted, like pendulum has swung. I almost think they're not going to kill anyone. I'm not saying they're like cowards or like don't have any guts, but like they're always, every time we're like, oh, they're going to kill, like season 4, we're like, they're going to kill 5 people, and then Eddie dies. And it's like, oh, they got the new character killed. Like, they killed, did they even kill Ted? Did they even commit to killing Ted Wheeler?
No.
I don't think so. And so I'm not mad. I'm not saying the show's bad or worse for it, but I am like, I'm not, and I'm also not saying I need a bloodbath. They make, like, if it works, it works. This has never been a show that's about killing main characters. But I am starting to get to the point where it's like, they're going to fake me out left and right, and they're never going to do it. And that's fine, by the way.
I was going to say, I have 2 things I want to say, and then I'll leave you. 2 points. 1 point. They did do quite a bit of faking out with Volume 1.
They did.
Which was a little annoying. They faked out with Hopper. That was, if you're going to start physically showing me Sarah flashbacks, that has to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for a fake out. And that kind of was like, okay, whoa. It kind of feels like they're faking out Hopper multiple times, both with Joyce and with 11. It feels like they're setting up 11 and Mike for something bad to happen there. Like they're setting up, they're doing too much. You know what I mean? They're setting up Dustin and Steve, like they're doing too much. Secondly, though, when it comes to Ted Wheeler, I will say, even though we all want to see a death, and Ted Wheeler is probably the best person that you can choose to give a death to.
I think that in that particular scenario, Demogorgon, like Lucas makes this point in the hospital pretty much. He's like, the goal, like Vecna didn't send the Demogorgon there to kill your family. If he did, Holly would be dead in your house and you would have found her body. So the Demogorgon didn't go there to kill Ted or to kill Karen. It went there to get Holly. If Ted and Karen did not present themselves as a threat to the Demogorgon's end goal, which is getting Holly, they wouldn't have gotten hurt. Mm-hmm. But because they were defending Holly, they got hurt. Mm-hmm. Like if Ted would have just sat in his lounge chair, the Demogorgon would not have glanced at him a bit. That's what I think. So that it makes sense for the Demogorgon. I think it's just like it's unrealistic for him to survive that. That's all I'll say.
I agree. It's unrealistic for Karen to survive.
I agree.
I think.
Yeah. But the show's also like Hopper lived. Like I love the show to death. You guys know this, but like Hopper living is absurd.
There are Eddie haters that are like getting mad at Eddie fans who are like, Karen can survive that, but Eddie can't survive that bites. Yeah. And they're like, Karen's actually an important and integral character to the show, unlike Eddie. And I'm like, okay, well, does it make you feel better if I say, how did Ted Wheeler survive that and Eddie Munson doesn't? Because Ted, you cannot look me in the eyes and tell me that Ted's important. So the question still stands. But anyways, I digress. Call me back in if anybody asks a question about Stancy versus Dancy or anything that you think I'd have good answer.
Alrighty. Let's see. This next one says, I think Will is going to die in the final battle and 11 gets stuck in the Upside Down forever. For example, in the last episode of Loki Season 2, Loki has to hold the universe in order for it not to collapse. Great comp, by the way. I love the end of Loki. I think about that often, that scene with Mobius where he's like, I think I'll just sit here a while. Let time pass. Chills. Great stuff. By the way, we never gave anyone a thumbs up. We were like, thumbs up. We're going to talk play spoilers, and we never returned to that. So thumbs up, you're good if you've had us on mute the whole time. No, I could see this happening, and I think I teased this in like a theory video I did, or it was one of the prediction videos where I was like, I could see a world where essentially Elle has to close the final gate, and she dies with the Upside Down or access to it forever. I could see that happening. I'm kind of leaning that being the case, and big piece of evidence for that. Excuse me, there's 2. One of them is the rooftop WSUK scene with Mike and Elle, where they're talking about like life after they defeat Vecna, and Elle and Mike, and it's just kind of coming off as, oh, that might not be possible, that might not work out. And then there's another scene with Hopper and 11, and it's when his wounds are being tended to by Elle in the Upside Down, and he's talking about Sarah so much. I'm like, he's talking about Sarah so much, and like being like, oh, I'm not going to let her die, that he's going to have to. It's going to hurt like hell and be harsh and cruel for him, but he might end up losing her. So, man, I love the Loki comparison, though. Robin goated as usual. Yeah, Robin, great Scott. I love the Back to the Future references. They get me hyped. Super chat here. That's a cute kitty cat. This one says, thoughts on the Cave/Vecna redemption arc. The Cave we kind of talked about earlier, gets into some first shadow stuff. Definitely a traumatic memory for Henry, potentially like in the play says, when he first experienced or came in contact with the Mind Flayer, so he doesn't want to go there. It's like his darkest memory. Regarding the redemption arc for Vecna, came up in the bold predictions video we did before season 5. It's come up a bunch. It's definitely on the table, but I don't know if they're going to commit to it or not. It would be a soft redemption. It wouldn't be like he's fully redeemed. It would just be it would almost be like a Vader type thing. I know there's a lot of Vader comparisons and Star Wars comparisons and references, but that's what it would kind of line up with, in my opinion. Where do you think Max's mom is? Probably just doing whatever. I mean, I feel like a lot of the gang's parents aren't shown that much, and we probably won't see them all that much unless there's some sort of funeral or like a graduation and epilogue. Like Luke's parents, Dustin's mom, Max's mom, like a lot of times they're just elsewhere in Hawkins, and it's kind of just how it is. It's how it's always been. So I don't really question it all that much. Notice the shape of the opening in the cave with Max and Holly was shaped like the Mind Flayer, and hoping to see Henry turn against the Mind Flayer. Yeah, it definitely is, and it's also the same shape on that spyglass sort of too, if you look at the front of it. So definitely something to it there with the Mind Flayer getting into first Shadow lore again. I wouldn't mind seeing Henry turning on the Mind Flayer, but I also kind of want to maintain Vecna / Henry as a villain in a sense where maybe he's become so power hungry he tries to overtake the Mind Flayer as a whole. I don't know. I really don't know where they're headed with the Final Four. Like this with the Spires, with the kids, like we kind of have a vague idea, but they're going to do a lot of answering of questions in the next few episodes, I'd say. Mike has certainly stepped up. I think Mike is one of, if not the MVP of the first volume of the season. He's had a humongous turnaround in a good way. Let's see. How many times have I seen season 5? The initial watch through, and then like I guess I skimmed through the entire thing. I don't know if you classify it as a watch when I did a breakdown edit, and then I've gone through it a bunch. I've only like actively sat down and watched it once, but I've gone through it so many times that it's like I've watched it multiple times, if that makes sense. Hello there. Welcome in. All right, let's see. We got some more super chats. I'll hop into those in a second. Again, if you guys are in here, by the way, hit that like button. I forgot to mention that at all. Helps out tremendously. Let's get to 1,000 likes. See, we have over 1,000 people in here. Hit that like button. Helps out tremendously. And be sure to go watch my reactions if you haven't to all 4 episodes. Again, I got into this up front on the stream. You heard it if you're on replay or if you've been watching live. The YouTube algorithm took down 2 of the videos, like fully blocked them. And those are my episode 3 reaction and episode 4 reaction. Those have been reposted. So definitely be sure to go show some support to those. Even if you've already watched, just go drop a like on it. It helps out a lot. All right. Where were we? If Max wakes up, what episode does she wake up? Isn't it hard to not say episode 6 at this point, Escape from Camazotz, because she is in Camazotz, which is obviously revealed to be kind of what they refer to Henry's mind as. Henry's mind, prison, I should say. Look, I think that's probably when it's going to be. That's probably when it's going to be, if I had to guess. I just got a Twitter notification that started with the words Avengers Doomsday, and I was like, oh my gosh, did a trailer drop? Apparently we're getting a Doomsday trailer this upcoming month, which is insane. Like that's what I've heard rumors of. I know that's not Stranger Things related, but I do cover that kind of stuff on the channel as well. And that's crazy. But I think Max will wake up in episode 6. And we're still going to get her, though, in episodes 5 and 6, kind of subscribing to the theory I had of her having like a mental plot line with her. We're getting that. We're still getting Sadie Sink. She's just not awake in the right side up. How do I feel about Byler? I get asked about it a lot. I know that. Again, I don't, if someone ships Byler, that's totally their prerogative. That's totally fine. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be endgame. My interpretation of the scene where Will sort of playfully, pushes Mike is that Mike's like, that's a little weird, and kind of brushes it off and walks away. And then you can even see a bit of a sadder look on Will, and even Robin kind of acknowledging that as well. And so to me, and I'm aware we get a sort of montage film-esque moment right before Will channels, into the hive mind and fully accesses Vecna's powers. I've always interpreted that as showing like positive emotions and things for Will, right? His relationship with his mom, his relationship with his brother, his friendship with Mike, that's kind of empowering him in that moment. And so I don't view, Mike Wheeler as loving, romantically loving Will. And I felt that way forever. And I think that's probably the route they're going to go. I think it's pretty clear they're having an emphasis again on Mike and 11 here. But again, I'm not telling anyone what they can or can't hope for or ship. I'm just saying kind of my take on it. But obviously we'll see what happens in these next 4 episodes. Do you think Jonathan is going too fast with Nancy? Why get a ring so early? I think this. I think if he proposes, it'd be weird. We'd have to see how the scene went down. I have a short coming out tonight that I've already filmed and a TikTok as well of my kind of take on all the shots we've seen from all the trailers that we haven't seen yet, if that makes sense. So like every shot from all the Stranger Things trailers that haven't been in this show, right? And this is one of them. It's a shot of the two of them and having an embrace. Is that an engagement type scene? I don't know if that's the route they want to go, but it might be a mistake if that's what they end up doing, at least on Jonathan's part, because I mean, think about it. Nancy's parents are both hospitalized. Her sister's missing. Is it really the time? I don't know. I don't know if he's rushing it, but they are young. They're young, and it's weird. It's a little weird. It's strange. It's interesting to see where they go with it. Thank you for the super chat here. Steve sacrificing himself for Jonathan would be okay. That would be interesting, and I could see it. But I don't know if I just don't know if I see Steve dying still. Again, calling back to the talking point earlier in the stream, are they really even going to kill anyone? There's a world where they just kill one person and it's Elle or Will, and everyone else makes it out. And so we'll see, but it's always fun to theorize and discuss, and I love it. I love talking. Oh, who could die? Who could die? Steve dying, what would it bring to the table? I mean, you got to think about his relationship with Dustin. Are they going to make Dustin lose another older brother? In any capacity, wouldn't that be a repetitive beat? He's already grieved Eddie. Wouldn't it make more sense for them to have a strengthened relationship and get over the crap they've been dealing with through these first 4 episodes and seemingly throughout the 18-month time jump? It's kind of where I line up with it. But we'll have to find out. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Steve living. I'm leaning Steve's going to make it out of this thing. Dr. Pepper break, as always. Where does season 5 rank so far? It's impossible, in my opinion, to rank it. I mean, it's we've only seen half. It's obviously half of the story. We don't know where they're going to land the plane. Like I don't know if I can place it anywhere. I think, what are we comparing to? I guess we'd be comparing to the first 4 of all the other seasons. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know where I'd rank it. It's not the worst Stranger Thing I've seen. It's maybe not the best. It's very good. I mean, I'm thinking Dear Billy is better than Sorcerer personally, if I'm ranking episodes. So like maybe I put 4 over it. I think it's just so, again, it goes back to the point I brought up earlier where the other seasons do have time to lay the groundwork. This one, we're hitting the ground running. So it's just different, and they're all different seasons. So I have to wait and see. I have no clue where 5 is going to rank for all of them, though. That's reliant on the last 4 episodes. Josh with the super chat says, Elle's sacrifice has never made sense to me. Will is directly connected, and I don't think he will have a Harry Potter type loophole. Well, you never know. It's Stranger Things after all, and I love the show to death, but we can all acknowledge that they've like, 11 dies at the end of season 1. Just kidding. Max dies. Just kidding. Hopper dies. Just kidding. I'm sure they can kill Will and bring him back, and they probably, if they want to, if it ends up being a situation of Will is connected to the hive mind and he's got to die in order to kill it, they've already introduced the concept of not reviving characters, but channeling some sort of emotion or happy memory to at least get you back to a state of being in a coma. That could happen with Will. So I hear you. I hear you. And I think especially after the first 4 episodes, they've fully gone on the concept of Will's connection to the hive mind being the strongest it's ever been. Well, that kind of implies that directly he is in peril. And if they have to eradicate this, he might go with it. But then you also have to think there's probably a way to break him out, especially because he's not naturally a part of the hive mind. Like he became a part of it, whereas it seems like everyone else was almost not born into it, but it seems like most others have been around much longer. I don't know if that makes sense. I think the whole cold opening is going to be huge when we get more context about exactly the function of the tubes, especially with Holly and all the other kids that are going to be put in the spires, that already are there. In that moment, it seems like that's when people become a part of the hive mind, and that's my take on it. But no, I hear you. I think the L sacrifice makes a little more sense, though, personally. Jimmy says, how many times do you watch seasons 1 through 4, and do you usually rewatch them before season 5 episodes drop? I mean, well, I watched season 1 through 4 again leading up to season 5, but I don't know if I'll watch all 4 seasons again before December 25th, if that makes sense. I'll watch season 5, volume 1 a lot leading up to it. Might go back and watch some episodes, but I just did a rewatch. I've rewatched the show a lot in my life, but I will probably watch volume 1 a couple more times before volume 2 comes out to answer that part of the question. And this one here says, do you agree if Joyce died, that would be the saddest and most shocking death? It would certainly be one of the most shocking, because a lot of people, I feel, are focused on 11, like myself, focused on Will, focused on, Steve, focused on maybe a Dustin death or Lucas. But Joyce, the mother, killing her would be a little out of left field and insane, in my opinion. So it would certainly be shocking. I don't know if it would be the saddest death. I think the saddest death would be probably Dustin or Lucas or Max. No, I mean, probably Dustin or Lucas, especially Lucas, because he's been by Max's side this whole time. And for him not to wake up, that would really, really hurt, especially other characters. But yeah, 11 as well would be really, really upsetting. So I think it would be the most shocking, arguably. I don't know if it would be the saddest. It would be, of course, any death's going to be sad, though, in this show. Will flashbacks resemble the season 2 shed scene? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That obviously that leads into the whole Morse code stuff, which is awesome. I loved how there were sort of elements that reminded me of the whole Morse code breaking in this season, with just the concept of, I don't know, telemetry tags and having someone in the looking for an antenna signal, all that stuff sort of just reminded me of season 2 in a way. And I thought that there were a lot of season 2 callbacks early. The tunnels, obviously, but just so many little things, even lines of dialogue that were callbacks to season 2, which I appreciated. Let's see. Welcome everybody. 8 plus 11 plus 1 equals Mind Flayer's demise. That's what I've seen a lot of people say, because it adds up to 20. And 1, obviously not referring to Vecna, referring to Will's ability to have powers. I've seen that going around. Interesting. We'll see. I obviously think that the Mind Flayer and Vecna are going to go. I don't know if it's going to be a 3-on-1. I mean, we'll have to see. That's 100% right. We have not seen Will yell run yet, and we don't know where or when that will be. But I do have a kind of a take on that in an upcoming video. And I'm going to have a video this week talking about all the shots we haven't seen, or we've seen that haven't been shown in the show yet. Delicious Diet Dr. Pepper, by the way. It's always hitting. How do you think Mr. Clark's wormhole demonstration will reflect the real situation? I think this will fully fall into Holly the Heroic's powers. And I think they teed up Holly to have some sort of powers. And maybe you do have, if you tap into that hive mind, you can, access other people's abilities who've been a part of the hive mind. And that's pretty evident. But Holly always has kind of had something. If you think back to even Holly Jolly, when she walks back, in the bedroom of the Byers house, she can kind of see some stuff. And so there's something going on with her there. And I'm of the opinion that with the 7th episode being called The Bridge and Einstein-Rosen bridges or wormholes being studied in Mr. Clark's class, somehow that's going to apply. In fact, the explosion of sorts that we see in the sky in the upside down overhead of Hawkins' lab that spreads throughout the sky could directly be involved with the bridge. And that would be interesting to see for sure. I also think with Escape from Camazotz, this could play. It could also just involve getting to Dimension X. Like I think it's going to somehow play into the bridge, hence the name of the episode. But I love how they always sort of foreshadow what's to come with classroom lessons. Even the Alan Turing stuff. with Will's school project, and then Alan Turing being quoted here, or even Phineas Gage back in season 2. There's a lot of cool little references or hints at what's to come just through the classroom, which is interesting. I do not. I think Robin's going to live. I think Robin's going to be all right. Who do I think Kay is? There's a chance she has some relation to Dr. Brenner. You are like Mama. Oh my goodness. Grandma, you are like Grandma. Yeah, who the hell knows what her deal is, but I swear there's a line where she's like about to say her name, and then the way that 11 cuts her off, I was like, there's something to it. Maybe I was too locked in, but I feel like I was onto something. Predict the run scene. When Will yells run, what do you think is going down, and what episode is it in? I'm kind of the opinion that it's... So there's a shot in the trailer that we haven't seen of Will screaming, and there's like, it either looks like Vecna's hands around him, or potentially he's being tied up to vines, or damn near he's being put on a spire. There's 12 spires. Maybe he's the final one or something like that. I feel like there could be something to that where he sees a vision, or he's about to get like put up on the spire, and then he's yelling run, and it's yelling run from the mind flayer finally taking form in the right side up. Like the version we've always seen, it's actually out in the right side up now. That could be what people are running from. I don't think it's going to be demos at this point. I think we've established, hey, demos are coming, and we can also fight those. But we do know demo dogs are on the run, and it could be saying run. There's a variety of possibilities here. I can't even pinpoint it, and that's good. That's good. I don't want to pinpoint everything. I want there to be some surprise to it all, but I'm of the opinion that he's probably tapped into the hive mind, and he saw something coming, just like he did with the Demogorgons in the military base, the Max Z, and he's like, you got to go. You got to run. So I don't think it'll be, I think it'll be like, it might be Escape from Camazotz. That episode could be nuts. All right. This super chat says, I believe Will's powers aren't a good thing, and Vecna is going to use Will against the crew. Thanks for the great videos. Hey, we saw it work one way, so what's to stop it from working another way where, Will taps into Vecna's powers. Well, Vecna can maybe use his powers through Will. That would be nuts to see Will attacking. That's what it could be. That to the point of the previous question, he could sense Vecna about to Vecna's going to use Vecna's own powers through Will. And so he's like, run before I get taken over. That would be nuts. Certainly. That's what could be. Because it looks like he's fighting, and he's like looking up and yelling. He could be fighting, his eyes rolling back in his head. That's food for thought. Love the season 2 Steve profile, by the way. Vecna set Will up, calling him weak, then leaving. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I want to know why, and I think we will get a concrete answer as to, like, we kind of get the idea of why Vecna wants to take kids, but do you think we'll find out why Will? Like, concretely, why it was Will Byers? I think there will be a little more detail to that because of the November 6th date. We know the play, November 6th, 1959, that play, Oklahoma, that production, and that was in Henry's Memories. There's a coincidence. It's not just a coincidence that November 6th is on both the day Will got taken and the day of that play. Super Chat here says, I have so many thoughts on Max's story so far. I love it, but I feel like it's a little too exposition heavy so far. Like, she went through thousands of memories. What did she see? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking. Honestly, I don't find it too... I find it one of the most fascinating elements of the season so far, just because I do want to know what's been going on with her. And the fact that she's stuck in Henry's memories makes sense, especially if you factor in that when he doesn't just kill, he consumes. And so now, like, Max, kind of a part of Vecna's mind, stuck there as a prisoner, which totally makes sense to me. And that does open the door to anyone who's been killed as a part of the hive mind to maybe be inside of this prison. Does that mean that there's a world where we see memories with Eddie? This is where I think it could open the door to something with like Eddie, Bob, Barb, Billy. Obviously, those characters fully died, but there's still a possibility here, in my opinion, that we could see them via memories or something like that. But I don't know. I definitely think they're explaining a lot here, but it's important. I don't go, man, it's an exposition dump. I think, oh, this is insightful. Like I need this info dump. So, yeah, I think especially because she was having to relive some of her worst memories at a point, that it shows she's been going through it for a bit, and there's hope for her to get out now that Holly's here, and I think they're setting up a really awesome escape. The super chat here from Holden says, Will be in control by Vecna at some point, making the endgame Kali and 11 versus Will and Vecna. Leaving Vecna and Will dead, ? Would be sad to see them going against Will, but what do you think? Yeah, I mean, it would be nuts to see Will and Vecna fighting side by side, and Vecna being strong enough to have control over both of them simultaneously. I do wonder what happened with Vecna when Will tapped into his powers. Like, we didn't see that. Will that be answered? I'm interested. I'm very interested. I would certainly not want to see 11 and Will fighting. I think that would be very upsetting. I don't know if it would be unsatisfying, but there's a chance that it could be like, man, this is dark for Stranger Things. I don't know if I want to see that. I'm going to say I don't want to see that. Of course, prove me wrong, show me whatever they can do. I'm going to go in open-minded, but I don't think I want to see them fighting each other because of the strong relationship they have. And that's like watching two, friends for all the seasons fighting maybe to the death. Like, that would be dark in my opinion. So I hope it doesn't come to that, but you bring up a pretty interesting point about Vecna tapping into Will, using his powers, through Will. Okay, let's do a little speed round of the regular chat here. Again, welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out here. Be sure to hit that like button. It helps out tremendously. Super chat's the way to guarantee I can get to your question, comment, concern. All right. The Mind Flayers is certainly going to be on the way, in my opinion. Does anyone know when tickets go on sale for the finale? I have no idea. No clue. I'd imagine they'd announce that. Like, Netflix would probably put out an announcement, or Stranger Things would on socials. They'd probably post about it. But this week, potentially, or whenever they drop the Vol 2 trailer, maybe. What is Ted's power level? Dead. Sorry. I don't know. Wii Golf, that's his power level. Man, let's see. I really was upset when Hopper was like about to sacrifice himself. I thought they were about to do something. Yeah, it genuinely made me sick. I agree. It was awful. It hurt me bad. Thoughts on Jonathan Nancy engagement? Seems a bit inappropriate with the timing right now. I don't know if it's the move. It might not be the appropriate time to full send on something like that. Personally, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Dr. Owens must appear. I hope that he shows up as soon as Ep 5, but you would think he has to play a role, right? If he's not in it, I'll be pretty mad. Be like, that man needs to show up. We've seen Mr. Clark, we've seen Sullivan. He needs to be there. Where has he been this entire time? Okay, we got some more super chats rolling in. Thank you, guys. Landon says, "How do you feel about the Steve and Dustin beef? It feels out of character to me, and I want to see the duo we remember back." I don't think we'll have to wait much longer. I think they've been at odds with one another. A lot of this to do with Dustin grieving loss of Eddie and it taking a long time for him to get over that, but also, Steve just being frustrated with a lot of different things right now, and maybe they're just on different roads, different phases of life right now, but I think we're going to see them make amends and then see the classic Steve Dustin duo here in the back half of the season. But I agree, it's upsetting in a sense. So I think it's probably supposed to be. Hopefully they can grow from it and strengthen their bond moving into the back half of the season. Curious about Max's letters in season 4, possible death. I feel like we've probably moved on from those. If they were to be read, I think it might be after, again, if there's a time jump graduation, those might come up. But I feel like we've moved on from them, honestly, because she ended up living for the time being. But you make a good point. If she does die, they'd certainly read them. Why didn't Vecna take Will in Ep 5, do you think? Ep 5. Ep 4, you mean, maybe? Probably just to prove a point. Be like, you're weak and there's nothing you can do to stop me. But little did he know Will could tap into his powers, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think he probably just wanted to pull up and be like, I'm asserting my dominance here. This is my plan. You can't do a damn thing about it. That's kind of what I got from it. When do you think Vecna will tell Will to help him? Yeah, that line from the trailer, of course. You're going to help me one last time. Again, it's obviously in volume 2. There's only 4 episodes left. Probably pretty early on. I would think pretty early on. I don't think they would want to reveal those lines of dialogue from the finale or from the penultimate. Maybe Escape from Camazotz, like kind of setting up the back half of the season, the last 2 episodes of the season. I would guess Escape from Camazotz. I think that's going to be maybe the wildest episode. That and the Brit, and all 3 of those last 3 are going to be nuts. I think the whole back half is going to be nuts. I think Will got his powers the same way Vecna got his. I think Will does not have innate powers within him in the sense that 11 or Kali does. I think Will, or even Vecna, I think Will is using Vecna's powers because he can tap into the hive mind and is so deeply connected to it that he was able to do that. I mean, we saw earlier in Ep 4, he taps into a Demogorgon and like walks it back away from Joyce. So he's able to control things in the hive mind. And since Vecna's a part of the hive mind, that's how he's able to use the powers. And I had to process that for a second. I didn't know how I felt, but I really think it's a damn cool concept that they teased a bunch. If you watch my breakdown video, I really got into it there. Like they teased it time and time again, even with a line saying like, I felt Vecna, I was Vecna. Same with the Demogorgon. So they really teased up that within the hive mind, has a deeper connection. And so that's kind of how I interpret that, him using Vecna's powers. It's not, oh, he has them. It's, oh, he can use them. He can access them, but he couldn't just do that willy-nilly. Does plot armor bother you, Karen surviving? Kind of. Mainly, I do think one of the Wheeler parents needs to die. I'm not saying I need their head on a stick, but for a Demogorgon to break in and kind of, and frankly, wipe the floor with both of them, one of them might need to pay the price. Preferably Ted. Karen is alive. We've seen her recovering. Ted's still unspecified. He's in a coma, and I just don't, I mean, I'm leaning he's going to make it out, but you can add those to the list of fake out deaths, I guess, right? In Stranger Things. It's just a thing. The question I ask is, what value would it add if they bit the dust versus if they survived? Karen living makes sense because that's what obviously allowed Mike and Nancy to figure out Mr. What's-It is Henry. So that was huge. She had to live to sort of relay that information. Ted's death, it might be needed. I don't know if him living, no one seems to care about him. That's kind of what I think I made a joke. I was like, F Ted. No one really cares about him, right? He's an afterthought right now. He hasn't really come up. People are just more concerned about Karen. And so I think Ted dying is very much on the table. This super chat here says Max's body's in the hospital, so where's Holly's body? I think she is one of the kids in the Mind Hive Vine. We actually see her on one of the spires with a tube in her throat when Will has a little vision at I believe it's the beginning of Sorcerer in the barn, right? McCorkle Farm. We actually see Holly is one of the kids on the spires. So certainly that's exactly where she is. And so it seems like to me, once these kids get put into on the spire, which to me I'm kind of thinking is actually inside of the Mind Flayer. Maybe it looks like there are like teeth all around, like that could be the mouth of the Mind Flayer or the brain of the Mind Flayer. It seems like they go into Camazotz when that happens. And so that's why I think Max and Holly are going to escape, but they're also all those other kids are going to be in Camazotz now too, because seemingly they're probably in the Creel House inside of Vecna's mind. Well, they can go rescue them and do like a breakout of the Creel House or something. It's going to be nuts. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they pull all that off. But let's do a speed round here in the regular chat. I see we got a lot of people hanging out still here. Thank you guys for being here. Of course, hit that like button, helps out a lot. Super chat's the way to guarantee I can get to your question, comment, concern. Steve's currently making me sick. I was definitely put off by a lot of people's attitude in the show. I was like, what's going on here? It was a bit much. Some people think the season was rushed. I think they don't know the difference between rushed and fast paced. What are your thoughts on that topic? I don't find it to be rushed. I think that it's certainly moving, but rushed in what sense? I think every reveal, every moment between characters was well thought out. earned. I didn't find anything like out of left field in terms of, well, we got there too fast. How did that happen? Rush would be like if in the first 20 minutes a Demogorgon pulls up at the Wheeler house, that would be like, oh, that's fast, but we don't even know Holly yet, or this time post, I guess, 1987 version of Holly. I think they're taking their time with a lot of it while also moving at a very fast pace, but it's not rushing, in my opinion. Rushing would imply like, oh, why are they revealing that without making it make sense? Like, I think the Henry as Mr. What's It reveal was earned. I believe that they took their time. I mean, the fourth episode was an hour 23. That's movie length. And so, no, I wasn't feeling it as rushed at all. Do you think time travel might happen in Vol 2 or the finale? They name dropped time travel. I think there could be a concept where they're going through and observing, I think is what Max says. We were observing. I think observation of past memories could come up, but I don't think that we'll see actual physical time travel. Okay, looking through the chat here. Max Z battle was insane. Yeah, it was nuts. Definitely action-packed for the show. No doubt about it. Do I watch It Welcome to Derry? I still have not watched It Welcome to Derry. Will Mike survive the season? I definitely think Mike is going to make it out alive. I just think killing the main kid of the show, essentially, right? In a sense, if you're going back to season 1, it might not work. And I think that he's taken on such a leadership role that killing him would be highly unsatisfying, honestly. Sadie Sink said in an interview that she's surprised Max hasn't gone crazy, and I can't help but think Max having a Wilson-type companion would be neat. Yeah, so for those who don't understand this reference, this is referring to Castaway, where Tom Hanks plays a character who's stranded on a deserted island, and he has a volleyball named Wilson, who's like his companion. What would her companion be? One of those things from the cave that she's in, like a book, maybe? I have no clue. What would she... A Walkman? Maybe she could have a Walkman that is her companion. And I don't know what you would name it, but could you imagine they did a Wilson in Stranger Things? Oh my goodness, that would be nuts. Wilson! Oh man. Really good movie, by the way. I've seen it, I think, twice. I watched it in high school. They showed it in health class, and we had like take notes on it. But I was hype. I was like, we get to watch this movie for a few days. Castaway. Oh man, what a throwback movie. Super chat here says, what do you think is the final scene? Duffer said they knew it in season, I believe, probably season. They've known it all along, right? I think it's going to involve the OG party playing D&D. And maybe it's paralleling the end of season 1, where, of course, at the end of season 1, the Byers family are having a little Christmas dinner, and the camera pulls out of the window, and boom, Stranger Things, the theme plays. I think it could be paralleling the first time we all see the kids together, where they're playing D&D in the Wheeler basement one last time before they all go their separate ways to college, to the next chapter, whatever it may be. I think that would be fitting. I think that'd be beautiful. I hope that's what it is. And if that's what it is, I'm a happy man. No Byler, please. Mike and Elle is such a big part. Yeah, I mean, I've always preferred Malevolent. I think this show has too. I know that Byler's huge. Again, I'm not saying Byler's wrong or anything like that, but I just think that Malevolent has been, it's consistently been the focus of the show. I think when it comes to Byler, I've always said this, it's a one-sided thing. I think Will, yeah, I can see Will having feelings for Mike, and does, but I don't think Mike does. Super chat here, it says... Sorry, my phone just vibrated. It says, maybe something bad/embarrassing happened to Henry during the high school play, and he's getting revenge on all the parents who were involved. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I believe I don't know for sure if in the play, the First Shadow play, they get into the Oklahoma play that he's in. But I kind of do feel where you're coming from, where, Henry is it said introducing Henry Creel, meaning it's his first role in this Oklahoma play. What if that date is traumatic for him because of something, right? I do believe they get into this somewhat in the First Shadow play, but I'm not as keen on that as Cam is. However, you could definitely be onto something here with this notion, and I believe we're going to get more flashbacks to 1959. I think that was like soft launching that little moment in Camazotz when Max was going through those memories. I think it was soft launching that we're going to see more of those, and potentially soft launching a spin-off show. My pitch has always been they need to do a live action spin-off set in the 50s with young characters, and I think they kind of soft launched that. I know that would go against the first Shadow play, and potentially they would like overlap a bit too much. But the thing about the first Shadow play, it's really awesome in concept, but it's not as accessible to everyone. And Stranger Things is such a huge brand that I think it's a disservice to not have that story brought to life on Netflix itself. And so either put the first Shadow play on Netflix, right? Like do an HD recording a la Hamilton on Disney Plus, or adapt the story in an 8-episode miniseries. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Or they can just, have supplemental flashbacks throughout this season, which they've kind of opened the door to now. But you make a good point here. You got Ted Wheeler, Karen Childress, who's Karen Wheeler, Joyce, Alan Munson, and Hopper. All of them were in that play. And you really make a good point there that I hadn't thought about. Eddie's dead. Bob is dead. I think Bob, his sister was Patty, was involved in that play. So Bob's dead. But you've got Will being and 11 being at the center of this whole thing. And then, of course, the Wheeler family being targeted. You could be onto something there. Doesn't the emblem on the little handkerchief or neck thing that Holly took out of the trunk resemble what Will painted on the barn wall? Ooh, I haven't thought of that, but you make a fascinating point. I always viewed what I've kind of viewed the painting of is twofold. I immediately thought that it was sort of loosely resembling like an hourglass shape, which kind of goes into the whole Einstein-Rosen bridge talk. But really and truly, it does look like the Mind Flayer, at least this part of the Mind Flayer, right? The arch right here. And I was like, that kind of looks Mind Flayer-y. And so one of those two, definitely, I haven't even thought of that point. There are so many. That's what I love about the show. You can study every frame. You can detail it. You can type everything out, look through it. Oh, I rewatched this 5 times. You'll always catch a little minute detail on rewatch, or someone else will have a different perspective or have a different eye for something. And so it's fascinating. It truly is. But that's a great point right there. Great point. Let's see. Okay. Where was I? All right, we're looking through the chat here. When are we getting volume 2 runtimes? We don't know. I'd guess within the coming weeks. I'd love to know, though. I think we'll probably get a Raw Stuffer post that reveals those. And I'd bet we get that around, let's see, they drop on December 25th, probably 2 weeks before then, at the midway point between Vol 1 and Vol 2. So what is that, like maybe around December 10, 11, 12, 13, one of those dates? We'll probably get a Raw Stuffer post with the Volume 2 runtimes being released. And of course, I'll make a video about it. My expectation is for all those episodes to be over an hour, but I don't think they'll be like an hour 20. I think it'll probably be like hour 8, hour 10, and then, hour 15 or something like that. Maybe hour 20. And then I think the penultimate, the finale will be over 2 hours, which is going to drop on New Year's Eve. And by the way, I'll do a stream before on the day of Volume 2 and on the day of the finale. I'll probably start a little closer to it dropping, but we'll see. What's good? Welcome in. Welcome, everybody. An idea when the Vol 2 trailer drops? It could drop as early as this week. But we really don't know for sure. It could drop any day. It could drop right now. It could drop any day. Oh, man. Let's see. I hope Owen shows up. I really hope so. I'm rooting hard for him to show up. That's all I'll say. Okay, we got a couple more super chats coming in. Thank you guys for those. Where was the last one I answered? I answered this one. Okay, yeah. When Will was screaming "run," why do you think there weren't any flashing or flickering lights? I remember always wondering since I saw that clip. Well, maybe he's out in an area where there aren't flashing, like there aren't any lights around him to be flashing or flickering. That's one take on it. Another take would be he is, again, there's not a lot of light around, but he was seeing through the hive mind what is coming after whoever he's yelling run to, right? Whether it's, his mom, another character, whoever it may be, a character grouping maybe. And so he is yelling run, but again, they're outside somewhere where there's not a lot of lights around, and they're not near enough maybe for there to be as strong of flickering lights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I really want to know when that is. That's like one of the big question marks, is when is the run? When is that moment? Is it Escape from Camazotz? Is it Shock Jock? When is it? Who do I think opened the door when Will was taken? Great question. I think this came up in the last stream as well. I mean, it's either it's At that point in time, to our knowledge now, Will had not tapped into the hive mind at all because he hadn't been connected to the vines, if you know what I mean. I was gonna say there's a chance. No, it's not Will. I would say, I'll be honest, I don't think we're ever gonna find that out. I know that was teased by, I think, one of the Duffers. I just don't think we're ever gonna find that out. But if we do, it would make sense for it to be, I guess, I actually don't know. Like Vecna, I know a lot of people are like, it could be 11. I have no idea. And I wonder if that's something they're actually going to answer, if it's just going to be one of those things. Because I guarantee you, when they shot that season, they didn't really think that much of it personally. I don't know. I don't think they thought that far ahead. So we'll see if they actually end up answering that or not. What do I think will happen in Volume 2? I think we're going to see an awesome episode in Episode 6 where Max and Holly get the hell out of Vecna's mind. And it's probably going to end with them or one of them falling through that sky. And that's going to be like how they escape through the sky of Dimension X to get back to the Upside Down, maybe, or the right side up. I don't really know where that's going to entail. We will probably see that explosion overhead of Hawkins' lab early, maybe Shock Jock, because a shock in the sky, but also Shock Jock is usually like a radio personality. So that could involve the Mind Flayer circling around the radio tower. It could also include them going up the radio tower in the Upside Down, because we've seen a shot of them doing that. So there's really endless possibilities there. But yeah, I think it's going to be thrilling. I think the finale, like, I hope they don't show a lot from the finale. I hope that even if we get a finale trailer, that it's like 30 seconds long. I don't want to see too much from the finale at all. Super Chat says, have you seen True Blood before? I have never seen True Blood. Never seen it. Upside Down is a clock, 12 kids counting to November 6th. Yeah, certainly something to be said about the fact that there are 12 spots on the spire. There are 12 hours on the clock. Food for thought. The Upside Down being a clock. It is a circle now. Fascinating concept. And of course, clocks had a huge role in season 4. And guess what? If you go back and watch early, I think it's season 2 and 3, you can even hear chimes faintly in the background at times. So maybe it has been, and it's frozen in time on November 6th, 1983 in the Upside Down. That's something that we still don't have a concrete answer about as to why. Very, very interested to get all those. And I think the Duffers in an article recently said we're going to get those answers, which is exciting. Super Chat says, do you think Mike will find out Will's painting was not commissioned by 11? Probably. I think it'll be kind of assumed at a certain point. But it's pretty fair to assume that they'll find out. And I think there will be a scene where Mike directly tells Will his feelings for him. And I think that they'll embrace one another, but it won't be romantic. Speaking of this, yes. To answer the question, yes. I do think this will happen. I agree. Owens better come back. He better come back. Let's see. Going back to Callie, someone says Callie will die. We'll have to find out, obviously. I hope no one dies. I'm kind of with you. I mean, like, I have predictions, and I think they will kill someone, but I don't want anyone to die. I'm with you. I think we'll see a physical form Mind Flayer in Volume 2 in the right side up. All right, let's see. Okay. Looking through the chat here. All righty. I'm just skimming through trying to find some questions I have not answered yet, and of course I will get right back to some of the super chats. Alrighty, let's see. Vecna needs to start snapping main characters. I don't think he's going to just be doing that left and right. That would be nuts. I want more hero Ted scenes. That would be. I mean, he might be out of commission forever. I think that even if he's alive, there's going to be some sort of irreparable damage done to him for sure. But we'll see.
Yeah, bored. I wanted to come back. What can I talk about?
You can talk about this. I already answered it, but you can talk about it real quick. The Upside Down is a clock.
Yeah, there are 12 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's either like a clock thing or like a religious sort of reference, maybe. One of the two.
Duffer said this season has the most gruesome death. Do you think it was already shown? Like that guy got it? Yes, I think it was the death of Sergeant Ramirez.
I agree.
I don't know how it couldn't be. If it is more brutal or gruesome than that, then it's going to be gnarly. I knew you were going to do that. Jackson with a super chat. I don't even know what it is. It's kind of like a touchdown celebration for a team that I don't like. I see Jonathan sacrificing himself for Nancy, also in an ego way over Steve, and Nancy will find the ring Jonathan will propose with.
If they made Jonathan sacrifice himself in any way that alluded to an ego thing in the macho competition with Steve, that would be...
It's not going to happen, in my opinion. Yeah,
the worst character assassination I've ever seen in my life. That would be almost worse to me than anything that happened in Game of Thrones Season 8.
That would be... yeah. I don't think that he'll do that. I think that... I think Jonathan and for sure Nancy is probably going to live at this point. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
The most annoying thing to me about the love triangle between Jancy and Stancy right now is that we could be getting a great friendship between Jonathan and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
We could be getting a great bonding between these two characters. The only two teenage adult male characters. That exist.
There's a train. 1 second. I just mute right when it gets really loud because it just came by really loud, but now it's still there.
Jonathan and Steve are the only two like older dudes, right? And obviously not like adults. Like there's Hopper, obviously, but like we get great moments with Nancy and Robin. They're the two older girls. They get to bond and have that, but we don't get to have that with Jonathan and Steve, which could be a great duo because. No offense to the Duffers, they're blinded by this love triangle obsession. You know what it is? It's giving Bridgerton. Every season of Bridgerton is obsessed with a love triangle. You can't watch a season of Bridgerton without it. It's giving Bridgerton.
Colin says, I think Henry is a good guy and has been flayed by the Mind Flayer like Will, and his body's being used to take over the world. What are your thoughts? I think that they could definitely tap into this idea of Henry being corrupted. I don't know if I would say good guy, but I would say at one point maybe, but a boy who lost his way as a result of this corruption. And so they could do something with that for sure. That's kind of my take on it. I think redemption for Vecna might not be possible at this point, but some sort of soft Vader-esque thing, maybe. I don't know, though. We'll see. Super Chat says, bro, we got fed. The wait was worth it. I agree. We got, and I think the next 4 episodes are going to be better than all 4 episodes we just got, personally. Where are the demo bats upside down scene infested? You bring up a good point. Isn't this interesting? No more demo bats, at least thus far. Demo Gorgons. We see demo dogs in the trailer coming after Max.
I know realistically why.
Go ahead. Why?
Because they were used as a vessel to kill Eddie, and that's the only reason why they existed in the first place. Now that Eddie's gone, well, here's another thing. My real answer, honestly. I'm so curious to see the Duffer's explanation as to what the Upside Down is truly by the end of the show, because there are plenty of inconsistencies with the Upside Down that I'm curious if the explanation will help. I mean, in seasons 1 and 2, if you went into the Upside Down for an extended period of time, you were like, the particles like almost made you like die. Like you had to go in with like a mask. Like when they went into the tunnels, they had to cover their mouths and their eyes. When Hopper and Joyce went in to get Will, they had to go in hazmat suits. Season 4, they're just raw dogging the Upside Down, part of the French. Like,
no, they are.
They just start going in there and no one's coughing.
The spore emitters, as I call them.
No one's coughing. Yeah. No one's coughing up a storm at all. Everyone's fine. Everyone's healthy. They mentioned it a little bit in season 5 where Robin's like, after we inhaled all those weird snow particles, who knows what's wrong with us? But it's like, nothing's wrong with you because you guys inhaled it for all of season 4 and you're fine. Yeah, exactly. I wonder if it'll come up. If not, we'll see. Hello there. This says, and we talked about this earlier, but when do you think we'll see the Vol 2 trailer
week before it comes out. I think about the midway point between Vol 1 and Vol 2. So
I think a week before it comes out is a good guess.
Yeah, so it comes out December 25th. I would say, for me, I'll go like...
I think next week is too soon.
I think December 12th, around there.
I think next week.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'll be this upcoming week. I could be wrong, but yeah, it'll either be 2 weeks out or the week before.
I think they probably have a lot of stuff that they are down to post this upcoming week that they can finally share now that Volume 1's out, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're finally posting Max's
You're right.
poster.
This whole week will be spoilery. They'll post like BTS content.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Murray is dead, y'all, period. A lot of people think Murray is just dead. And I don't think they would kill him off screen.
Can I tell you, I didn't even notice that I didn't see him again.
Shout out Ollie, the man. I think Max and Holly will encounter Henry's suppressed subconscious. I have a feeling he's trying to help them. Why else would he give Holly access to her favorite song? Interesting.
Yeah, that is definitely weird that he gifted her music. I've thought about that.
That's fascinating, actually. Yeah.
That's why I am the most intrigued by Max's storyline. Just because, like, I feel like, obviously, there's lots of questions with, like, what's the Upside Down? What's Will's relation to the Upside Down? What's Eleven's relationship, blah, blah, blah. But I'm really curious about everything that involves Henry specifically and everything that involves, honestly, stuff that comes from the first chapter.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Mike is aura farming this season. It's sick when he has like
he's looks maxing.
Yeah, when I love when he's attacking that Demogorgon and Lucas is like, get him. Like that was just funny to me. Cam, we still remember the pink hair promise if Eddie comes back.
Yeah, I'm dead serious about it. And mind you, it's not my whole head. It's just a strip in the back.
Yeah.
But I'll do it.
This question is hilarious to me. Who would win, Steve season 4 versus Rafe from Outer Banks season 4? I think Rafe because he's way more in him. Rafe would
kill Steve.
Rafe would kill him. Rafe is insane.
Shoot Steve in the head.
He'd shoot him. He might try and drown. Remember when he almost drowns?
Honestly, season 4 Rafe could kill Vecna. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Season 4 Rafe is any Rafe is crazy.
Rafe is out of his fucking mind.
He's crazy.
That's insane.
From Outer Banks, yeah. He almost killed his own sister.
I don't know how he's.
Do you remember that? By the way, he almost drowned his own sister.
And then what? Topper had to come in and save her.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I have to tell you something, and then I'll wonder if your chat will say anything whenever you.
Okay, is it about this?
It's about this. Stranger Things and The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Mm.
People have on the internet had the audacity,
okay,
to compare Jonathan to Jeremiah.
Means not a lot to me because I haven't seen that show. I'm aware of who they are.
The Dunkin' commercial boy.
Yeah. Huh.
You know people don't like Jeremiah.
Yeah, I know.
You know Jeremiah's a fuck.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't really care less about The Summer I Turned Pretty. You know how I feel about that show, though.
I just feel like people in your chat might be able to say something about that.
Super chat here from Yeet Dominic. Thank you. Let's talk the Russians, Cam. I know it's your favorite subject in Stranger Things. Will the Russian army tie back to the storyline? It feels we still have unanswered questions of Russia's interest in the Upside Down. I'll be honest with you. I'm agreeing with this notion, but I don't think they're going to answer anything. I think there are certain moments with Russia, especially in season 4, where I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and they're just not going to answer. I think it's almost implied. It's implied that they had gotten some stuff through a gate and they were like doing experiments, but that's it.
I think there are questions when it comes to the Russia storyline that will never be answered because they physically cannot be answered because the Russian storyline is that bad.
What would you do if Dr. K was a Russian? Like that was a reveal.
Wow, your American accent's really good.
She was doing a bit. She was like a double agent, and that's how she's doing these experiments.
Mama. She's
an undercover Russian.
She's mama.
That would be nuts. No, to answer your question, I think there's going to be some unanswered things that go up in the air with that, which you would think they would want to right the wrongs of because they are so hell-bent on bringing Callie back. But
you know what I just found out? And you might have to fact check me on this.
Okay.
I think the guy who plays Akers in the show.
Yes, he is.
Brenner in the play.
He is.
That's so cool.
Yep.
That makes me think that they might be able to bring back the guy that plays Henry.
Yeah, could be. When do you think the scene with Lucas holding Max is going to be?
Escape from Camelot. Yep. I think it's going to be shot in succinctness. Is that the word? With when Max is escaping from.
I don't know if that's one in the English dictionary. I can't attest to that.
It's going to be shot in.
Simultaneously.
Sure. Yeah. It's going to be like.
It's going to be occurring simultaneously.
It's going to be cut in with Max escaping from the mind layer because he's running around with the jukebox.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be playing. It's going to be running up
that hill. Yeah. I think so. I think it'll be fun. I agree it'll be Escape from Camazotz. I also think that Shock Jock is the name of Ep5, and the explosion over Hawkins' lab is a shock in the sky, is it not?
Shock Jock.
Yeah. I do not want 8 to be a reason for the win. I agree. I don't want her to be like a Captain Marvel of it all from Avengers Endgame. I think that if she were to have come back earlier in the show, yeah. But she just came back in Ep4. If she comes and saves the day, it would be...
what's wrong with Captain
weird.
Marvel and Endgame?
Nothing is wrong with Captain Marvel in Endgame, but you know what I'm talking about. She's literally like, oh, I'm too powerful to be around, so I'm gonna go leave the planet for a bit, and then I'm gonna show up at the last second. If they do that, it would just be unearned.
You got a problem with powerful women?
Not at all. She's joking, by the way.
I'm so
I know
joking.
A lot of you guys probably don't know that. She is
joking.
joking.
I'm sorry.
Thoughts on Will being Vecna's son?
This is like the multiple times you've been asked this.
Apparently it's a big theory. Huh? What do you think?
We know Will's biological
dad.
It'd be one thing if we never knew Will's dad.
Yeah.
Like that'd be one thing, but he's been a character in the show, like legit.
Okay, I would think the answer is no.
Is bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's no.
I would say justice for Lana.
I say flip it. 11 being Vecna's daughter.
I thought you were going to say Will being Vecna's dad.
Who would win? Who? I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this one, guys. I don't understand.
MMA mode? And it autocorrected to Mama? MMA?
Is it just, it's Steve?
Oh, no. Season 5, Mother Steve.
Okay.
The mother version of Steve.
Okay, yeah.
I don't really think he's been a mother in season 5.
I think season 2 Billy might beat anyone. He's unhinged.
Season 2
he's
Billy.
He's laughing his ass off as he's smashing his face
Billy
in the
versus
ground.
season 4 Rafe.
I think season 2 Billy.
Really?
Season 1 Rafe is the scary Rafe. Or season 2 Rafe. When Rafe is on the boat and he's pointing the gun.
What's the season where Rafe's dad obviously hates him? Is that season 2? When he has a buzz cut?
I'm pretty sure it's 2, yeah.
That's the bad Rafe.
Yeah.
Season 2 Rafe versus season 2 Billy.
Yeah.
The world.
I think season 2 Billy, if he gets hit enough. Yeah. What are your thoughts on biological development? Well, I've already been asked it, so why don't you take the reins here? I think I've been asked about it 3 or 4 times already.
I don't think Byler's going to happen. I think that, and I say this, one of my friends is a Byler. We talk about it all the time. I think she's like 35% after volume 1, which is a big jump.
In favor of it occurring.
Of it happening.
65% in favor of it occurring.
Yes, but that's a big jump from being 100%.
Okay.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
And so I just don't think it's happening. I think Robin's speech to Will pushing Mike, and Mike not reciprocating. I just think that those are big signs pointing to it's not happening.
Okay. There you go. Steve and Will need at least one scene together. Need it. Do you think we'll see them speak ever?
You know, Joyce has also never spoken to Steve.
Really?
There's
Steve.
We're just trying to radio them when they go into the Upside Down. She's like, Jonathan,
Mm-hmm.
Nancy, Dustin, please answer me. And she knows damn well Steve is there too, but she
Yeah.
actively doesn't say Steve's name. It's funny.
This is 100% correct, by the way. Will doesn't technically have powers. He's tapping into Vecna's powers. That is correct.
Correct.
There was some things earlier that came up, and I clarified that as well.
Has anyone in your stream said that they think that Will is more powerful than 11? Because that's a take that happens a lot on the internet.
I don't think that's come up, but I did bring this up. Will all of the kids be able to have powers because of their connection to the hive mind? Because
I don't think so.
it is possible, though.
Yeah, but I think
I don't think we'll see them all access.
Will is special because he was the first one. That's why, he has so many similarities to Vecna, like, because in the same way Vecna was the first test subject for Brenner. Like, Will is Vecna. If you think about it.
Welcome in. Good to see you here. Welcome. Someone said Eddie return.
Sure.
Still predicting Murray to die? No. I don't know. I think it's possible, but I feel like the ship might have sailed. I thought they could have killed him at the end, but what if he's just dead? People are thinking he's already dead. We've seen no more of him. In the marketing. So
that's true, but that'd be a crazy way to kill him.
It would be. Maybe we could open with him dying, but after the triumphant moment of the demo getting Vecna there, it'd be a little weird.
I just feel like to kill a character in a way that has nothing to do with like a Demogorgon or a Vecna is almost a slap in the face to that character. Like if someone died on the impact of hitting the wall and the Upside Down, it's like, oh my
God. Max best plot of season 5 so far.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Looking through the chat here. Ooh, who do you think is the best actor of season 5 so far? Let's go age. So kids, older teens, adults. Best performance through the first 4.
Well, of the kitty kids, Holly,
I think it's Holly of all the kids.
including like our kids that are now teenagers.
I think she's just really shown a lot. Nell Fisher.
I'd say I still think Sadie Sink.
Sure.
I've got Sadie Sink and Caleb McLaughlin at the top always.
I guess we do have another layer now. We have the young
there's
kids,
the kids, and then the old kids.
The kids and the older teens.
I've got Holly at the kids.
So I would say Holly.
Of the old kids, I've got.
I would go
Sadie and Caleb.
Yeah. And then of the teens, I would say My Hawk.
Oh yeah,
I'd say My Hawk. And then for the adults, I'm sorry, you know who it is.
Hopper.
It's David Hopper.
That, to be fair, we really haven't seen any other adults.
Joyce, but
Joyce
not
hasn't done fuck all.
Joyce, but she had that really, really sweet scene with Will outside of McCorkle.
Oh yeah, yes.
But yeah, that's a good. I like questions like that, kind of outside the box questions. All right. I answered this one. I did answer this one. I did not answer. Or I did answer this one. Here we go. Super chat here says not related at all, but will you cover it? Welcome to Derry, or have you watched Australia? I've been asked about this a bunch in all my streams. Maybe I do need to watch it, but I at the point where I think the show's almost fully out, so I would just binge it in one go. Maybe do a review of it, maybe not, but I haven't followed it, and I did not care for It Chapter 2. I've heard It Welcome to Derry is pretty solid though. Super chat here says, hey guys, great to see you. Were you shocked that no major characters died for sure in Vol 1? Imagine if they play the Clash to save Will from Vecna also. It would be a cool way to hear, should I stay or should I go reincorporated? I'm not shocked. I did think they were going to kill someone early. They acted like they were going to kill 2 characters, but seemingly they're both going to live. I
was not shocked.
I will say I'm shocked they didn't concretely kill Ted.
You could say you were shock-jocked.
I was shock-jocked. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if they're going to kill anyone anytime soon. I don't know. It's hard to say. Wouldn't the military know about the tunnels now? ?
They do. Because they saw them in the bunker.
This is just a super chat, and it's Derek.
Isn't the military all dead, though? Actually?
I mean, majority, right?
At least the ones that would know about the tunnel probably died.
You make a really compelling point, actually.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Thoughts on the Demodog Hospital fight? Imagine Ted fights one. You're right. You know what? I didn't think about until right now. You are correct. Karen and Ted are in that hospital when those Demodogs pull up.
That's how Ted dies.
That's what I was just. Yeah, they could both die there.
That'd be funny.
They could both die there. Karen has served her purpose of helping out find Henry. So
as long as Lucas survives, I do not care.
Yeah, Lucas needs to live. That would be nuts. Could you imagine Ted wakes up from the coma? I can't even anymore.
You know, man, beautiful. Ted sacrificing himself for Dustin.
Oh my gosh! Take us for all we're worth. Upside Down is such a catchy song. I agree. They've had some pretty solid needle drops. I feel like they haven't had as many, but they've been really, when they have them, they hit. And it's also worth noting that every single song that has played has been on the WSQK record. And so to me, that's just showing that we're going to get Wheel in the Sky by Journey. We're going to get Bicycle, and we're going to get Another Brick in the Wall.
I'm waiting for my Michael Jackson song to drop.
I actually don't mind this. Someone said Jonathan will propose like the way Will did in Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Okay, remind me.
It's like epic. It's like in the middle of a battle. It's like they're literally fighting all these other like Davy Jones guys and some of the Brits, and they're like going after it. It's epic. That would actually be kind of cool in my opinion.
I said this to Chris the other day. There are lots of people that like Jonathan antis that are like, Jonathan's so stupid for having a ring. We know that Nancy doesn't want a marriage like Ted and Karen, and why would Jonathan want to Nancy would never want to get engaged because she doesn't want a marriage like Karen and Ted. But it's like, I don't like the notion that just because Jonathan proposes to Nancy, that automatically means they're going to have a marriage like Ted and Karen. I think that they can get married and go live in New York or Boston or whatever and do their dream jobs and just like be married at the same time. Getting married doesn't immediately mean settling down and having kids and living on a cul-de-sac, like Nancy explicitly says she doesn't like.
Yeah. I've been here from before 2K subscribers, and your videos have filled the train things drought. Forever grateful for you and your channel, Chris. Well, thank you. That was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That was, I mean, that was probably 2021, maybe?
Maybe.
I think it was 2021. So that's a long damn time. Thank you for sticking around all these years. Wild. Let's see. All right. I'm looking through the chat here. We got some repeat questions that I've answered. Let's see. Where are the other kids in Vecna's mind? It looks like they're all on the spires right now. And
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So because, and yes, I referenced this earlier, Holly was, brought to the spires, and then she ended up in Henry's mind in the Creel House. So when Escape from Camazotz happens, it'll be Max, Holly, and then presumably other kids as well. Yeah. It'll be a big prison break from Henry's prison.
Yes.
So I think they probably are all at the Creel House, I would guess.
Yeah, Holly hasn't been there since Henry left for the morning, so we wouldn't know.
How would you, or where would you rank the jocks of Stranger Things if you were to include Lucas? So what are we saying, like Jason, Andy?
Well, this is a loaded question because
Billy,
Steve is technically a jock.
Yeah.
Tommy H is a jock.
Yeah.
Billy, I wouldn't include Billy as a jock. He didn't play a sport professionally. He just was in PE.
Steve, and then
Lucas, Steve.
Sure, yeah. I don't. Is jock Lucas isn't a jock though to me.
Well, they said including Lucas.
Well, fair, I guess we're including
Lucas and then Steve. Then probably.
Who really cares after that, right?
Y'all call me crazy, Jason.
Jason over Andy, probably.
Jason over Andy,
because we actually get to see some good of Jason. Jason has some good before
Jason has a whole reason to spiral into what he spiraled into, and I will stand on that. I think Jason's downfall is valid to his character, especially considering he didn't have all the puzzle pieces. He was putting together what he could with the information he had. So him spiraling into, the satanic mania that actually happened in the 80s, like that's totally valid. Then I would say maybe the guys that are just next to Andy. Like there's a guy in the background when Andy's shoving Dustin up against a locker. He's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
The jock that says hiya when they come to beat up Dustin, I'd put him next. Then I'd put Andy closer to the bottom because him holding Eric down, that's already a major red flag.
That was.
We saw Jason go face to face with Erica at her house. He didn't lay a hand on her. I'll say that much. You didn't have to chase her down and hold her down by her legs. That's a little girl, you freak. That's my ranking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, pretty much to hell with all of them except for Stephen Lucas.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I literally ranks them, from memory at least. A lot of them are just assholes.
Yeah.
What if Mike is what Tammy Thompson was to Robin?
I think
to Will, right? Is that what we're saying? So
yeah, I think he is.
I agree.
That's the point of the speech.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think that means it's the person who taught Will about himself, but not they're not going to be a couple or anything like that.
Yeah.
Super Chat here says, do you think one of the reasons they brought 8 back was to protect 11's character so she doesn't have to sacrifice herself? Potentially. I think what they're really going to do with it is probably give Elle maybe more of a reason to sacrifice herself, though. I think it's going to be for my sister, for Hopper, for this, and maybe she'll learn something, to your point, about how to use her powers differently through 8. But probably going to involve one of the 2 dying, I would say.
I think a great way to use 8, I just had this thought, could be she could kind of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi herself or something, where she, because she can make people see things. So she can project herself, or she can project something. She can be somewhere else in a different area and project something to Vecna to help the team win. Yep. And I'd be cool with that. Yeah. I'd be fine with that.
Okay. There you go. We have a couple more super chats rolling in here. This says, did you catch on during Joyce and Will's nice convo outside that she kind of hinted she thinks Robin and Will are liking each other? No, I didn't catch on to that at all. Is that a thing? I didn't think that was
considering at this point Robin is a high school graduate. And Will would be a junior in high school?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I honestly thought it was more just like them kind of.
I think she was just happy to see Will making friends.
Yeah, I agree. The attack on the hospital will force Will to overuse the connection with Vecna, and that will lead to him being taken over. Yeah, so were you in here when we were talking about how there's a potential for Vecna to take control of Will, but like using his own powers? That's a concept that has come up a lot in this stream.
Well, I encourage you all to watch Harry Potter or the Phoenix.
Harry Potter also came
and
up
Harry
often.
Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Harry Potter came up often as well.
I need to make a video about that.
Yeah.
I'm uniquely overqualified to talk about that, I think. That's totally possible. I think Will being a Horcrux is seemingly more true of a theory now than ever. I think them being connected is obviously more true of a theory now than ever. Now that I think the minute Vecna realizes that Will tapped into the hive mind to use Vecna, Vecna's gonna be like, okay, well, bitch, then I'm gonna tap into the hive mind to use you.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, and that to honestly could be. We talked about this in the stream already. Will could be saying run because he's about to get possessed by Vecna.
Ooh, interesting. I think it's interesting that the words that Vecna says to Will when he has him in front of the library during the trailer are just not at all what he says to him in the show.
Yeah. I posted a theory about Vecna's plan for Hawkins. Well, there you go. What is the theory? How will they answer so many questions in 4 eps? I think that they'll be fine. I think the biggest questions that need to be answered are what is the Upside Down, because we still don't fully know, and we're going to Hawkins' lab to figure that out.
It's definitely
we're going to figure it out.
I think it can be answered pretty easily, though.
I think so too.
It's just a matter of what the answer is.
The finale is over 2 hours.
Because the answer could be something as simple as like it's just a prison world that Henry created.
Yeah. It's like Dimension X always existed. It is like the other dimension, and the Upside Down is just Hawkins.
Yeah, it
carved out of Dimension X. We don't know. Yeah, I think that character. I mean, like, there's plenty of time to wrap up every character arc, in my opinion, and answer big questions. I don't think they're gonna have to rush. Personally, I think there'll be plenty of time to do what they need to do. But yeah, we'll probably go for a few more minutes here. It's almost been 2 hours, and we got some packing to do for a little trip we're taking this week.
Sorry, guys, I'm taking him from you.
I'll still have stuff coming out.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Still post.
And yeah, so let's do a speed round. Here. We do not have Vault 2 runtimes yet, but I imagine we'll get those in the coming weeks from Raw Stuffer in a good old fashioned Instagram post. Karen is not Alice Creel. Yeah, I agree. Karen is not a Creel.
I will say though, Holly definitely is like imagery for Alice Creel.
Definitely, and there was an interesting point brought up. People were saying Ted's the GOAT. Yeah, I agree. Ted's organs are out. He's done. There was an interesting point brought up that was like, I think it was Super Chat. It was fascinating. It said, what if all of the name, like November 6th, obviously is the date of the Oklahoma production. Well, there are every name on that, flyer. All of the kids of those people being targeted is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting in my opinion.
Yeah.
Eddie's dead. Bob's related to Patty. He's dead. And then you've got Elle, who's related to Hopper, the Wheeler kids, and then the Byers.
Yeah. Everything's super connected. And also on that day of the play, like something very traumatic does happen to Henry. So
what does happen actually on that day on November 6th?
Play spoilers, mute, and then I will give you a thumbs up when I'm done talking about it.
3, 2, 1. First shadow play spoilers ahead. You've been warned.
So, okay. On the day of the play.
And this is canon to the play. November 6th, 1959.
Wait. I actually just realized a huge issue with that. Unless maybe in the first shadow, maybe it's rehearsal. Because what it is in the first shadow is on the day he murders his family, which is March. He then is taken by Brenner. He escapes from Hawkins' lab to go to the school where the play is happening to find Patty because he loves Patty.
Mm-hmm.
Henry loves Patty. Brenner is running after him. So much is happening to Henry that he just gets overwhelmed and he magically shoves Patty off the stage play, and he is led to believe that he killed Patty. Spoiler, Patty doesn't die, but Brenner tells him he killed Patty. So he thinks Patty's dead. And so that's how Brenner is able to fully manipulate him into doing what he wants, because the only thing that Henry really loved is no longer there to keep his humanity really intact.
Yeah. Interesting.
But that doesn't make sense if they're playing the show happened on November 6th.
I don't know. I don't know what they could change from the play or not. I haven't seen the play. I've just read extensively about it. Okay, that means you're good now if you had your mic muted. But I am interested to see what flashbacks they bring in. This super chat here, it says, do you think time travel will be involved? I think the line where Max is like, I wasn't time traveling, I was observing, kind of answers that question. I think we will take a glimpse into the past, but it won't be time travel. It'll just be we're observing.
Yes, I agree. She's time traveling via memories, but it's not like actual time travel.
No, yeah.
Which is the best time travel to have.
Yeah. Super chat here says, spoiler, might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm actually so glad they brought back Kali.
I agree.
Yeah, I think there's potential. I'm going in open-minded. Initially, I was bummed about it because I didn't think there was hope for it, but I am trying to go in open-minded with it. So we shall see. Super chat here, no question attached, but thank you for that. Chance of the time travel, highly unlikely, just kind of an observing. Was the most gruesome death already shown? I think it was Sergeant Ramirez. What I think about the wormhole hints, I think it's setting up the bridge. And I think it's going to have to do with potentially the connection between like getting out of Camazotz to or Holly's powers.
Yes, yeah. Holly's powers, being able to open dimension doors. I think that's a big part of it.
Oh, yeah.
I think we see Holly flying through Dimension X at some point. So we're going to see her hop through some dimension doors.
Certainly. Sure. Certainly. We're going to probably wrap up here shortly. It's been 2 hours now on the stream. Again, there's no way I was able to get to everything in the chat. There were a lot of repeat questions as well. I tried to get to as much as I could, but I'll take a couple more here and then wrap this thing up. Let's see. What if 8 is the true bad guy? I doubt it. That would be a weird twist, in my opinion. Derek is the funniest character in the season, hands down. He's got some lines for sure that'll make you laugh.
He's a silly one.
I think Jonathan will die because of what happened to Patty. He wants revenge and Joyce suffering. Interesting. I am not well versed enough in the play as much as Cam or others, but
I don't really understand that statement, though.
I think somebody's gonna have a more gruesome death. That would have to be a pretty damn gruesome one. Someone get like ripped in half or something.
Maybe.
Let's see. Super chat here says IMDb has runtimes as follows. Yeah, so here's the thing. IMDb it's not reliable because anyone can kind of go in there and edit stuff. It's like Wikipedia at times. So I did see that, and I also saw Ross Duffer said a while back. He said that those runtimes are not accurate. So until he posts on his Instagram and we get like the official post from him or Netflix or whoever, the runtimes actually are up in the air. Now the only one we do know we have a ballpark for is the finale being around a little over 2 hours, they've said in recent interviews. So the finale is going to be a little over 2 hours, but the other ones we can kind of gauge being anywhere from like an hour to an hour 10, hour 15. But I would just go in expecting that and not expecting them all to be like hour 45, like IMDb has listed. Super chat says season 5 Hopper versus season 4 Rafe, Polar Bear versus Demogorgon.
Season 4 Rafe.
I think Hopper would destroy Rafe. And then I think a polar bear would eat up a Demogorgon. And then the last 2 super chats here. This one says, the theory about it was all Mike's dream. I would hate any sort of it was all a dream, it was all a campaign.
That would be so weird, especially considering that there's such a big plot line where like Nancy and Steve like get together and then Nancy cheats on Steve. Like, that's such a weird thing for Mike to dream up as her brother.
It would make no sense. It would ruin the whole show. This one says you can call the number on the L Wanted poster. That is correct. I remember when that dropped, you could call the number and it was teasing her disappearance and what's to come. But that is correct. Yeah, and you can call some Doritos number as well, I want to say. But yeah, I think that's probably going to wrap up the stream. We went for 2 hours. Lots of great questions. Thank you guys if you tuned in live or on the replay. Of course, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of good content on the way. Be sure to check out my reactions if you haven't. Some of them got put back up and go catch them while you can, because who knows how long they'll be out. Hopefully forever. Knock on wood. But we shall see.
Get them all the way in full on his Patreon.
That is correct. But no, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining the live. It was a fun one as always. I have a short coming out later, so stay tuned for that. And I'll have a couple of videos. Cool interview coming this week. Lots of fun stuff coming to the channel. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, all that stuff. You guys know the drill. But thank you guys for being here in the live or on the replay. And we have one at the buzzer. We have a super chat. It says prediction: who makes out alive and who doesn't? I think most are going to live. I would say 11 is going to die. If I had to give you one definite death prediction right now at the buzzer, by the way, appreciate it. No, I think that is going to do it though. Use some Firefly merch, link down below. I have film stocked merch there on sale right now. I think it might still be on Black Friday, so you guys can go double check that, but it's linked in the description. But that's going to do it for real this time. Thank you as always. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side.